All right. Hello, everybody. I'm so sorry for the late start. Oh, my God. It is time to go back to Soujirou's crazy-ass money-making scheme. Oh, yeah, we got to go into save files. Here we go. Soujirou, after getting a whiteboard and having the girls agree to a chore rotation, now is caught in the middle of what is very likely to be a scam. Soon, Alco, it's time to investigate. Hello S, hello doors, welcome to the stream. The sound of the first train leaving the station could be heard far off in the distance. This was that time of morning when the town was deciding if it felt like waking up or not. Tobimaru Tsukiji was having a walk down city streets at sunrise, enjoying the fresh, crisp morning air.
This town really is beautiful when it isn't swarming with people.
The crowds had become a common complaint of Tobimaru's. To him, the tacky, over-decorated street corners were the embodiments of human desire. At this time of day, the streets were nothing like the circus tent of activity they usually were. The main street was completely empty. This looks like a real fucking photo. I swear. God. Like, does that look like a real photo? It looks like a real goddamn photo. Oh my God. The main street was completely empty. It was likely like a lonely, tranquil morning after a festival. Hello, Edvis, and welcome to the stream. Weary men in black were busy cleaning up and restoring order in the bars after the previous night's revelry. Around the back entrance to local restaurants, the kitchen crew were busy bringing in their daily ingredients while stifling back tired yawns. Birds carelessly wandered the streets. There wasn't even the sound of a single car engine to be heard. This was a uniquely refreshing sensation that could only be felt from a city morning. It existed somewhere between daily life and exciting entertainment. This was the only time of day when the bustling modern world stopped aside for a slower, more nostalgic pace.
Okay.
Tobimaru searched through his coat pockets, but only found some old receipts. He rearranged his scarf around his neck to keep the cold wind at bay. Meandering through the city streets, he'd ended up at Central Park just as the morning magic began to fade. His stroll had no particular purpose. It wasn't for his health or anything like that. He was merely making his way home after a night out in the town. Damn, he stayed out that late. Wow.
What the hell am I even doing?
Tobimaru had a moment of unabashed self-reflection as he drank a can of vending machine coffee. He didn't particularly hate partying all night long, but it's pretty boring since he wasn't old enough to drink alcohol. He'd been out for a few days now. I think he was at least better than being at home. Oh wow, he must have a shitty home life. But he was quickly growing bored of it.
I suppose it's only natural for relatives to get together at New Year's, though.
He grinned wryly at his own lame excuse. It was true that he was out wasting time like this because he didn't really have the place to go home to at the moment. What the is this gonna be like his chapter? Damn. The Tsukichi family always had a congregation of relatives over on New Year's Day, as per his grandfather's orders. This is why his siblings and other relatives have been staying over at the Tsukiji home for a few days now. If Tobimaru was there, he'd just provide fuel for the fire. Oh wow, it looks like so yeah, this is gonna go into his background this chapter. He decided to avoid the family drama and not go home while everyone was there. They'd just greet him with insults anyway. And if someone tried to start a fight, he knew he wouldn't be able to resist the bait. It would only cause even more resentment and trouble for his father. So, for Tobimaru, there was nothing more pointless or less exciting than getting involved in his siblings' squabbles over the inheritance. Oh my god! We're going full Umineko over here. Oh shit. Tobimaru Tsukichi was the fifth-born son to the Tsukichi family, which owned multiple plots of land in Misaki City. Tobimaru is a battler, yeah! However, most of that land had been acquired after the war. Before that, they'd been a minor noble family on the brink of ruin. The man who built the Tsukichi family to its current glory was Ushirimiya Kinzo, Tobimaru's grandfather and the current patriarch. Kimakuni Tsukichi. Kimakuni married into the struggling Tsukichi family and saved them after they lost all their power during the war. The Tsukichi family were local Shinto clergy and relied upon Kimakuni's financial assets. Kimakuni, on the other hand, had leveraged clan connections to establish himself in Misaki City. While both parties came together for mutual gain, the Tsukichi family failed to recognize just how ambitious Kimakuni was when they accepted him into their family. I wonder if he's getting the money from Tsukichi. If he's like doing a favor for him. He wasn't the obedient son-in-law they had imagined. He had grand plans of his own, growing and developing industries within Misaki City and many other areas as well. Kimakuni controlled all of these areas not as a member of the Tsukichi family, but under his own name. So basically, by marrying into this family, he was buying a quote-unquote noble lineage. And I wonder how much he actually cared for, like, the woman that he married. A castle's greatest defense was its moat and not the walls, and Kimakuni bridged the moat. It was the economic equivalent of starving out the enemy. Kimakuni's financial might subdued the noble Tsukichi family completely. In less than 10 years, there was no one in the family who could stand up against him. Businessman, accepted into the family as a mere son-in-law, had seized the Tsukichi name and the entirety of the family fortune. However, Kimakuni had fathered many children. He would not allow the Tsukichi bloodline to die out. That was also the only way to maintain the family fortune. His 3 sons and 1 daughter all married relatives of the Tsukichi family, thus strengthening the familial bonds that Kimakuni had weakened. Tobimaru was the fifth son of Hitoyoshi Tsukiji, Kimakuni's eldest son. Jesus Christ, that is a huge family. However, his mother was not a member of the family. Tobimaru was... He's got his own fucking Umineko going on here! What the hell? Oh my god! Wow. Tobimaru was the result of a fling with a mistress that ennobled birth to find his place in the family. It was his father's love child. Oh my god. Although the family's dignity was somehow maintained since he was the son of Hideyoshi, it wasn't difficult to imagine the level of mistreatment Tobimaru faced from his siblings and other relatives. Being raised in such a hostile environment made Tobimaru grow up far faster than he should have. His ability to think quickly and objectively was honed naturally within this challenging environment. However, those exact traits also brought Tobimaru a great deal of trouble. Kimakuni Tsukiji. Unfortunately, against all odds, this great leader of Tsukiji family favored Tobimaru over anyone else, including his own eldest son. Oh my god! Is Tobimaru actually Beatrice? Since Kimakuni had been a commoner himself, he did not believe in blood inheritance alone. To make matters worse, not a single coin from his great fortune had been given to any of his sons yet.
The most loathsome thing in this world is the blood of the Tsukiji family. I never would have had any of you if I could have helped it.
Those words were spoken at every family gathering, and they were the absolute truth. He'd taken a liking to Tobimaru after speaking with him at these annual family gatherings, and enjoyed playing chess with him in his spare time ever since. Oh my god! Everyone in the family was worried Kimakuni would name Tobimaru his successor. In this way, Tobimaru had gone from being worthless to a threat in the eyes of Kimakuni's sons. The son who felt the most fear and hatred was Tobimaru's own father, Hideyoshi, who would have been the unconscionable heir as the eldest son. And this was how Tobimaru became estranged from his father. They no longer even lived in the same house. Damn. Hideyoshi always acted like they had a great father-son relationship in front of Kimakuni, but that would only last until his father was no longer around, or until Tobimaru was officially named the heir. When that happened, it would be all-out war. In any case, it would not be a pleasant story.
Grandpa really has a hard time reading between the lines sometimes.
Tobimaru scratched his head in frustration. He really wasn't all that worried, though. In public, it looked like they had a good father-son relationship. In private, they were in the midst of a bitter inheritance dispute. Things had always been that way, even before he met Kimakuni. The only difference was that his sole protector, his father, was now his mortal enemy. Tobimaru had always been at odds with his family. His father was just one more enemy to add to that pile. Staying out all night like this was Tobimaru's way of avoiding his family. If he was home, he knew they would try to gauge his feelings. However, they wouldn't openly attack him now. Even the relatives had looked down on him and his siblings, who had bullied him as a child. The worst they would do was make snide remarks. Tobimaru was at his core a peaceful person, who pretended to avoid trouble whenever possible. Petty revenge or even stepping up to Kimikuni's expectations weren't on his to-do list. His father's words were unfounded. His relatives were getting riled up for no reason, and Tobimaru had no intention of stepping out of his role as the prodigal son. However, his siblings, who were around the same age as him, held a different kind of resentment. Uh-oh. Perhaps they felt guilty for tormenting him all those years. Perhaps it was a result of their roles being reversed.
He's going to get back at us one day.
They lived in such fear of this that they didn't dare ignore Tobimaru.
そのくせ根回しはうまくねえときた。
I'm not good at dealing with all that talk behind my back.
青崎ぐらいの大胆さで突っ込んでくるんなら、まだスリルがあるってもんだがな。
If they just confront me like Aozaki, I might at least be interesting.
His family problems were simply a chore. They never really worried him much. He was used to human malice, although he nearly died from the physical abuse of his siblings. Oh my god. Hello Hoshi, welcome to the stream. Even though someone had once tried to kill him with true murderous intent. Even though he had been exposed to how the elite, untouchable class of society treated others by his eldest brother. It was all such a pain in the ass.
Zen Damida.
They were all events that would change a person's outlook on life. But he always remained cool-headed. That was just how things were for Tobimaru. He had grown bored of his relatives getting worked up over everything.
まあ、そのあたりは人それぞれか。
I guess everyone is different.
親父殿には同情するけどな。あのじいさんの息子なんて波の根性じゃ務まらねえ。
I do sympathize with my dad. It had to be tough to be the son of that old man.
Tobimaru honestly could not care less about who would be the next heir. He had no clear plans for the future yet. His only real goal was to wash his hands of his family and start fresh when he became an adult. Until then, everything that happened was a life experience. That is pretty crazy, Hoshi. He continued his morning walk, thinking it was better to enjoy the nightlife now while he was still young.
Huh?
Someone was already sitting on the bench when Tobimaru entered the plaza. The crows gathered there flew off at his approach. On the bench sat a girl dressed in black. Alice. A well-dressed old man with a cane sat with her. I wonder who that is. These were familiar faces, so he approached the bench to say hello. The old man and girl looked as if they were grandfather and granddaughter. He seemed like a kind old man spending time with his grandchild. However, the truth was...
アリス、僕は今でも思うんだ。一体何がいけなかったのかって。
Alice, I still don't understand what went wrong.
考えられるサービスはすべて実現させた。従業員への感謝も、来園者への笑顔も忘れたことはない。
We provided every service we could think of. We always thanked our employees and greeted visitors with a smile.
なのに時代は僕を選ばなかった。それどころか僕の内なる芸術性を否定した。
But the times haven't favored me. What's worse, my art was outright rejected.
無念だ。死ぬがいい。腐った魚のようなマスコミどもめ。
I'll never forgive them. Those media vultures can die for all I care.
何が悪夢のクリーチャーか。あんな夢にまで見そうなマスコットが他にあるだろうか。やるまい。
Wait, is he the artist of that fucking mascot from the amusement park?
How dare they call them nightmarish creatures? I only wish they could dream up such mascots.
なのに連中と来たらネズミを二足歩行させれば満足と来た。
Give them a mouse that walks on two legs and they fall over it.
そもそも犬をペットにする齧歯類とか冷静に考えたら怖いぞ。動物が動物をペットにするなんてモラルが低いにも程がある。あ、そうか。やはり人間をペットにするべきじゃないんだろうか。
If you really think about it, a rodent that owns a dog as a pet, that's a nightmare. How could an animal keep another animal as a pet? If anything, an animal should keep a human as a pet, don't you think?
No, no. Actually, the poor young woman was getting an earful from the old man. After his outburst, he paused for a moment.
いや、これは失礼。許し子よ。
I'm sorry. I forgot myself.
He scolded himself and hung his head.
答えてくれ、アリス。一体僕のキッツイちゃんは何がいけなかったんだ？
Just answer me this, Alice. What was so wrong with my Kitsy?
角よ。角をつけるべきだったのよ。
Horns. You should have given it horns. The girl in black returned the old man's solemn bow with a grim answer of her own.
いや、角はいけない。子供たちが怪我をしてしまうからね。僕は傷をつけるなら体ではなく心にしたい。
No, 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 horns won't do. A kid could get injured by something like that. I don't want to harm them physically, just mentally.
What? What? The girl nodded deeply, thinking over the implications of what this old man had just said. What the hell?
さて。
Anyway.
Tobimaru didn't want to get involved, but he was already too close. If he passed by without saying anything, the old man would certainly make a fuss.
こんにちは。こんな朝っぱらからじくじく公開中かい。時津のじいさん。いつまでも引きずってると死に損なうぜ。
Damn.
さっさと往生して息子たちを安心させてやんな。
Damn. That's cold, fucking Tobimaru.
Good morning. Isn't it a bit early for someone to regret, Mr. Tokitsu? Seems about the time you passed on to a better place and stopped worrying your kids.
おや、どこの悪ガキかと思えば豊かの子供か。
Well, well, well. If it isn't Tsukichi's bratty black sheep.
おはよう、トビー。君も相変わらず早起きだね。
Morning, Toby. You're up early as usual.
俺は朝帰りですよ。お二人みたいに健康的じゃない。
I'm just heading home after being out all night. I don't live a healthy lifestyle like you two.
そら、クオンジのお嬢さんもおはようさ。
And good morning to you too, Miss Kwanji.
The girl looked up calmly at Tobimaru's greeting. It was none other than the witch on the hill, asked Kwanji.
こうしてまともに挨拶するのは2年前のパーティー以来か。何にせよ珍しいな。 あんたがお付きなしで町に降りてきてるなんてよ。
Huh. How long has it been since we really talked? Maybe it was at that party 2 years ago. Well, it's rare to see you out like this.
そうでもないわ。この時間の公園は鳥を入れ替えるのにちょうどいいから。一
That's
人で散歩によく使うの。
that's not true. I walk through the park at this time of morning quite often, actually.
ほう、そりゃ驚いた。箱入り娘じゃなかったのか、あんた。
Oh, that's kind of surprising. I always thought he was kind of a shut-in.
ええ。その証拠に、あなたがひどい顔で歩いているのを何度か見かけた。
As proof, I can say I've seen you walking around here looking like a mess on many an occasion.
遊び歩くのは結構だけど、青子に迷惑かけないよう気をつけなさい。
Whatever you do is your business. Just try not to cause any trouble for Aoko.
ご忠告どうも肝に銘じておくよ。
Thank you for the words of caution. I'll do my best.
Despite their casual greeting, Tobimaru and Alice rarely interacted, though their fathers were acquainted. Even so, the histories and spheres of influence of the two families were very different. Though the Tsukijis held sway in Misaki City, the Kwanjis influenced the whole of Japan. Normally, someone like Tobimaru would not be in the same social circles as Alice. The only reason they could interact like this at all was because they were both friends without Kawasaki.
若菜。トビー、君はアリスと友人関係だったのか。
Hmm? I didn't realize you and Alice were friends, Toby.
もしかして二人はステディな関係だとか言うまいな。
Wait a second. You're not dating, are you?
Why do you care?
やめたまえ。言ったら大事になるぞ、トビー。僕は心臓麻痺で急死しかねない。犯人は君であり、凶器はアリスだ。
Don't tell me. If that's true, I'll die of a heart attack right here and now. You'll be the murderer, and Alice will be your weapon.
無論死因はこう書いてくれ。そう聞くも無情な恋の病と。
Be sure to write that down as my cause of death. Oh, say it isn't so. This heartless dove shall be the cause of my demise.
クオンジのお嬢さんはどうしてこんなダメ老人と？
So, tell me again why a girl like you hangs out with this pathetic old man.
俺と同じ親父関係の付き合いか？
Is it the same reason I do? Because of your father?
この人とはペンフレンド。
He's my pen pal.
分不相応にいいアンティークを持っているから、青子と二人で少しずつ取り上げているの。
He has more antiques than he can handle, so Aoko and I are taking some off of his hands. Despite this being one of the only times they've really talked, Tobimaru and Alice both managed to completely ignore the old man.
参ったな。アリスは照れ隠しもチャーミングだ。
Oh, Alice. Even the way you hide your embarrassment is charming.
ところで、僕のことはユーリヒと呼んでくれていいんだよ。
By the way, you can call me Yulich.
Mr. Tokitsu gently took Alice's hand. Alice's face, another typo, remained neutral like a doll's.
トッキー、私、いい絵付けのティーカップを探しているの。1900年代のラム工房のものとか。どうかしら。
Toki, I'm looking for a nice painted teacup. Something from the 1900s. Maybe from Dresden?
あるとも。もちろんあるとも。今度おっかないお友達と遊びに来る時までに用意しておこう。
I have just the thing. I'm sure to bring it out for you next time you come by with that terrifying friend of yours.
You respond to her request like an obedient marionette.
おいらくの恋って柄かよ。よくもまあ寝台潰さなかったもんだ。突版は。
You know, I'm surprised you haven't ruined yourself looking for love in all the wrong places, old man.
You see, this old man was none other than Yurihiko Tokitsu. He was famous in Yashidoki as the former head of the Tokitsu Baking Company, with factories all across Japan. He still served as an advisor.
老人とはなんだ。芸術家にとっての老いとは感性の凍結であり、しかるに我が心の火は絶えていない。
What are you calling old? An artist is only old when he's lost his sensibility. My fire hasn't burned out yet.
僕はまだ暑苦しいくらいに若いんだ。つぼみのような少女と恋を語らう楽しみは残っているさ。
Why, I'm so young, it's almost stifling. I still look forward to passionate chats with a young woman.
この年になるともう世間体とかどうでもよくてね。女の子と話すことだけが人生の意味になるんだぞ。
Once you get to my age, you stop giving a damn about keeping up appearances. Talking to girls is what gives meaning to life.
若いのかじいさんなのか。どっちなんだ。
So, wait, are you young or old?
おっと、失言。最後の方のは聞き流してくれ。
Oh, slip of the tongue. Forget that last bit.
僕が言いたいのは、女の子と穏やかな時間を過ごすのは最高ってことさ。
What I'm trying to say here is that there's nothing quite like having a nice time with a young woman.
トビー、そういうの君も好きだろ？
I'm sure we can at least agree on that, can't we, Toby?
一緒にしないでください。あいにく俺は年上好みですよ。
I'll lump me in with you. I like older women.
おまけに言うなら、二回り以上も年下の女に浴場する趣味もねえわけで。
I definitely don't have a thing for girls who are less than half my age, I can tell you that much.
それはそうだ。君がやったら犯罪だ。
Well, I should hope not. That would be quite the crime.
トビーは17歳。その二回り下が何歳になるとか口に出したらいけないよ。
They're only 17. I don't really want to think about what age you'd be talking about.
Mr. Tokitsu nodded his head in self-affirmation. He chose to ignore Tobimaru's off-color remarks. Tobimaru was reluctantly impressed with the man's magnanimity in the end.
ともかく挨拶はしましたから、邪魔者はこれで消えますよ。あとは仲良し同士、気兼ねなくどうぞ。
At any rate, I just wanted to say good morning. I'll get out of your hair now. Sorry to interrupt your fun.
なんだトビー、これも縁だ。ゆっくりしていけばいい。なんなら今から僕の別荘に来るかね。ヘリコを呼ぶよ。楽しいぞ。
Oh, don't be like that, Toby. Fate has led you here. Relax and spend some time with us. Why don't you come by and stay at my villa for a bit? We could take a helicopter, it'd be fun.
いや、お気持ちは嬉しいんですけどね。知る人が見れば、とんでもなくブルジョワなメンツでしょ、これ。今は避けたい気分なんですよ、そういうの。
I'll pass.
That is quite the invitation, my god.
Thanks for the invitation. If anyone I know sees me, they'll think I'm even more of a spoiled rich kid. I feel like avoiding that right now.
Tobimaru's choice of words made his present situation clear to Mr. Tokitsu, and he reluctantly backed off. Such intuitive understanding made it obvious how this man had expanded the Tokitsu Baking Company nationwide. He had divined Tobimaru's complicated family situation in an instant.
ミックによろしく。そろそろ引退して子供たちと仲直りするよう僕が言っていたと伝えてくれ。
Tell Mick I said hello, and that he should retire and make up with his kids soon, will ya?
はいはい。ぬかに釘だろうけど伝えておきますよ。
I'm sure it'll fall on deaf ears, but okay.
じゃあな、クオンジさん。また朝に出会うことがあったら その時は改めて挨拶させてくれ。
See you around, Miss Conchi. I'll be sure to say hello next time I see you around in the morning.
Alice's silence neither encouraged nor discouraged this. Tobimaru shrugged and left the plaza. He walked leisurely away from the park and came to an area of the city that was under redevelopment. There was a radio tower under construction there that the Tsukiji family had a hand in. Most of the capital for that project was funded by foreign firms.
この電波塔は10年先を見越してのものです。
We're looking 10 years into the future with this radio tower.
いずれ携帯通信は目まぐるしい進歩を遂げるでしょう。
Many advancements will be made in the field of mobile communications.
まずはそのモデルケースとして私どもの技術を三崎市に普及させたいのです。
Wow, they got it right. Yeah, they got it right.
We want to bring our technology into Masaki City ahead of the rest.
The man from the foreign firm shook onto the deal with Tobimaru's father, Hideyoshi.
いずれは娘も三崎市に住まわせようと思っています。
Eventually, I want my daughter to live here in Masaki City.
その時はあなたの息子さんともぜひ交友を深めて。
I hope that she and your son can get to know each other better when that day comes.
He was a handsome man who had the calm command of a leader. The fact that he had offered up his daughter to Tobimaru showed that he had researched the Tsukiji family's inheritance issues well.
親父も舐められてるって気づけよな。親父より先に俺に色目使いやがって。クソヤンキーが。
When are you gonna realize you're getting played, Dad? It's so obvious.
そもそも金髪女の相手なんざ願い下げだぜ。
Damn.
向こうで海兵相手にケツ振ってろってんだ。
And I'm not interested in blondes anyway. She can take her skanky money-grubbing hands elsewhere. I'll pass.
Damn. Cold chillin'. Tobimaru stopped in his tracks after those muttered complaints. He decided to stop himself before he said anything worse. He'd walked far away enough already. The sun was completely up now. There was nothing more to gain from wandering mindlessly.
戻るか。
Guess I should head back.
He turned his back to the radio tower and began heading home. 1 hour later.
坊ちゃん、お電話です。
Young master, you have a phone call. Tobimaru had returned to the Tsukichi residence. He took the phone from the housemaid.
もしもし、飛び丸？宗十郎がこんなことになってるんだけど、あんた心当たりない？
Hello, Gyro. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Tobimaru. Soldier's got himself into something recently. Does anything ring a bell? Kawasaki was on the line. That was never a good sign.
とまあこういうわけなのよ。
So yeah, that's about as much as I know about it.
すげえな。安心できる要素が一つもねえ。
Jeez, everything about that is suspicious as it gets.
Soujirou seems caught up in the strange part-time job. Like that, like the chapter suddenly changed radically to something else. Oh my god. And yeah, I was beginning to wonder if it was the same chapter. I'll wait for you in Central Park to talk about it. 10 minutes had passed since he'd received this call from Alco and returned to the park. Tobimaru felt a light migraine coming on after hearing about the situation. The young girl and the old man from before went nowhere to be seen.
そんなこと言われるまでもなく分かってるわよ。
Well, you don't have to tell me that.
私だって人のアルバイトにケチつけたくないけど、どう考えても普通じゃないでしょ？
I'm not trying to be judgmental about what someone does for work, but this just doesn't seem right.
あんた、あいつから何か聞いてない？
He hasn't told you anything about this?
悪いな。期待には応えられん。宗十郎はバイトに関しては秘密主義だ。任されているからには他言はできない。とかなんとかな。
Sorry, but I haven't heard anything. He's super secretive about his job. He said he can't talk to anyone about it or something.
そうなのよね。あいつ他人の事情に関しちゃ缶詰みたいに切りがたいから。
Yeah.
先が気にされない限り口を割らないのよ。
He's always so tight-lipped about anything that involves other people. He's not gonna talk easily.
ほう、それはそれは。青崎にそこまで言わせるとはね。宗十郎も信頼されたもんだ。
Huh. I guess he must be pretty loyal if even you think that about him.
どういう意味よそれ。
What's that supposed to mean?
タイはね、言葉通りに受け取ってくれ。
I'm not implying anything, I'm just saying.
お前、基本的に何だって怒るよ。そんな女
Yeah.
学校外で世話を焼くなんて、よっぽど気に入ったのかと思ってな。
You get mad about pretty much everything. If you're watching his back outside of school, you must really like him.
違うわよ。あいつが問題を起こしたら私たちにまで飛び火するじゃない。
Not really. It's just that if he causes any problems, we're gonna have to take the heat for it in the student council.
こんなの誰がどう見てもただのリスク回避でしょ。
This is just risk aversion. Pain, plain and simple.
なるほど。公務として見過ごせないってわけか。
Okay, so you're just doing your duty.
そうよ。悪い？
That's right. Any problem with that?
いや、悪かねえさ。むしろ尊敬するよ。
No, none. I respect it, actually.
ほんと、鉄の生徒会長だぜ。休日だっていうの。
Yeah.
学校の評判を守るためだけに働けるとは。
You keep telling yourself that, Aoko.
Yeah, the perfect student council president. I mean, it's not even a school day, and you're out here just to make sure our school's reputation is upheld.
だけってところを妙に強調するじゃない。
You really don't have to say it like that.
まあ、事実その通りだけど。
Though I suppose you're right. Aoko's glare seemed to suggest she wasn't interested in hearing any objections. This little bluff was rather charming to Tobimaru, who was well aware of Soujirou and Aoko's current living situation.
別に。しかしまあ、そういうことなら副会長として付き合わなくっちゃな。
At any rate, I guess it's my duty as vice president to tag along with this investigation then.
会長は学校のために宗十郎を調査する。
You continue investigating Soujirou. For the reputation of our school, of course.
俺はそのサポートをしつつ、友人として宗十郎を気にかけるってことで。
I'll provide support however I can, and we'll watch out for Soujirou as his friend.
Tobimaru said he would do as Aoko asked, but for some reason she did not seem satisfied.
じゃあ、そうと決まれば早速始めますか。
Now that it's all settled, let's get started.
青崎のことだから、宗十郎の勤め先ぐらい突き止めてんだろ。住所どこだよ。
You should at least know where he's working, right? What's the address?
Yeah, that is a snazzy jacket. Holy shit.
それが尾行したんだけどうまく巻かれちゃって。
My god. I tried to tail him and find that out actually, but I got nowhere.
駅前から2丁目方面に曲がっていたのまでは確実なんだけど。
All I know is that he turned and walked towards 2nd Street from the train station. The vice president was used to this. He didn't bother saying anything about it going so far as to tail Soujirou.
2丁目か。あの辺りだとパチンコとゲームセンターぐらいしか思い当たらねえな。1日に何万も稼げる店なんざねえぞ。
2nd Street, huh? There's just a bunch of pachinko parlors and arcades around there. I can't think of anywhere that'd be paying him tens of thousands of yen a day.
そうなのよ。というか知ってたら私が試したい気分だわ。
I know, right? I mean, if I knew a place like that, I'd be inclined to work there myself.
飛び丸、念のために聞くけど、三崎町にあるお金の稼げる遊び場ってパチンコだけよね。
I just want to make sure. But the only place you can gamble in Misaki is that pachinko parlor, right?
あ、親父の話じゃ風営法に引っかかる賭場はねえとさ。
According to my dad, there are no gambling spots that violate the Entertainment Business Act in town.
三崎町の顔役は話のわかるおっさんで、クリーンな極道を目指してるらしい。パチンコ経営だけで満足してるって話だ。
He said the owner of the pachinko parlor is an agreeable sort who seems happy sticking to his current business.
うん、それは知ってる。一応確認しただけ。
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to make sure.
でも、そうなるとますます謎ね。
That just makes this whole thing even more mysterious.
ギャンブル以外でお金を売買にしていく仕事なんてちょっと思い当たらないんだけど。
Hello, Oddjars. Welcome to the stream. I can't think of any other way than gambling that you can make money that quickly.
ああ、体でも売ってるとしか思えない羽振りの良さだ。一晩いくらみたいな。
Yeah, nothing except maybe selling his body. Maybe people are paying him for a night.
There's a slight delay in Aoko's reaction. It took her a few seconds to register what he was saying, but then her jaw dropped.
体ってあんた。
Wait, selling his body? Are you serious?
ほら、絵画のモデルとかバイト代は高いと聞くぜ。
Oh, chill out. I'm on as a model or something. I heard they make pretty good money.
あ、うん、割はいいって言うよね。美大生ってお金持ちだし。そうよね。それぐらいなら別に。
Yeah, I've heard that too. And art school kids are usually pretty rich. Maybe that's all it is. Oh, it's not so bad.
まあ、ヌードなのは当然だが。
I mean, he would be nude, of course.
結局裸じゃない。
So he is getting naked for money! Oh my god. Without any real information to go on, the conversation was quickly diverging further from the topic at hand. Hello, Miarik on Twitch. Welcome to the stream. Without knowing the location or type of work, there really wasn't much to talk about.
明日、もう一度総十郎を尾行するしかないわね。二人がかりなら見失うこともないだろうし。
Let's try to tail him again tomorrow. It'll be harder to lose him if there are two of us.
そうだな。他に手がかりもねえし、明日にするか。
Yeah, you're right. We don't have any other clues at the moment, so let's just pick this up tomorrow.
Oh, thank you so much, Miarik.
総十郎の羽振りがいいだけじゃどうしようも。羽振りがいい。
All we know is that he's making lots of money, and that's not really... Huh.
Tobimaru furrowed his own brow. He seemed as though he thought of something. His expression turned more dire by the second.
どうしたの、飛び丸。何か思い出した？
What's wrong, Tobimaru? Did you remember something?
ああ、ちょっとな。そういえば、最近妙に羽振りのいいバカが一人いたなって。
Oh. Kinda. I just remembered one other idiot who's been making a lot of cash recently.
そいつ、3日ぐらい前から金に明かして合コンし放題って話なんだが、頭の痛いことに、
Wait,
総十郎と同じクラスのバカなんだよ、これが。
wonder who it is.
It's about 3 days ago he's been flaunting a lot of money and going through all these expensive mixer parties. And he's in the same class as Soujirou.
There were a few seconds of silence. Aoko nodded. She had put two and two together.
あいつね。
Yep. Yep. Oh god, it's him. I know who you're talking about. The two immediately left the park to go and find the suspect.
チャリース
What's happening?
お呼びとあらば補習だろうと即サボり遊びのお誘いだけは断らない木の実くんです
You know I can't turn down an invite even if I'm in the middle of studying. I'm here to party, guys.
Suspect A was apprehended with ease. Ako and Tobimaru were both in the student council, so they knew their target would be at school for remedial lessons. Tobimaru got a girl in Konomi's class to tell me he had some good news to share outside. Konomi took the bait and came running onto the school's front gate as fast as he could.
ああ補習中呼び出して悪かったな
Hey, sorry to call you up when you're trying to study.
別に悪くないぜ補習を口実にバイトをサボってみたもののやっぱり補習もかったるかったんで出席だけ取って保健室で寝てただけだし
No worries. I was actually just using school as an excuse to skip my job. But then that was boring too. So I was just having a nap in the nurse's office.
でちょうど暇してたところに殿下からコールだろ合流できると飛んできたわけさ
And that's when I got the call from you. So I'm all ready to party. What's going on?
Konomi gave a double thumbs up to show he was ready to have some fun.
そうかてっきり外で遊び歩いてると思ったが助かったぜお前連日ゲームセンターに入り浸りだって聞いてたからよ
I thought you'd be out and about, so I'm glad I caught you. I hear you've been holed up in the arcade for the past few days.
あああれねちょうど昨日ですっからかんよゲーセンでおごりまくるのは気持ちいいけど後に残るのは虚しさばかりだよな
Yeah. I was out there getting out free games and stuff, which is fun, but not so much once you're out of cash.
他校のヤンキーどもと仲良くなっても嬉しくねっつうが女っ気皆無というかなんで女の子はゲーセン嫌がるかね
Plus, I'm not really interested in becoming friends with punks from other schools, and it's all guys in there. Why don't girls like hanging out in arcades?
まそれも過去の話だけどね所詮ポット湧いたあぶくぜに使っちまった金の話をしてもしょうがねえ
Anyway, that's all in the past. No point in talking about dough that's already spent. Easy come, easy go.
俺たちは明るく今の話をしようそうだろうリッチな飛び丸くんその有り余る財力で今日は僕をどこに連れて行ってくれるんだい
Let's focus on the now. You're rich, right? Feel like taking a broke guy like me out in the town today or what?
ああその前にこちらの御人がお前に話があるってよ
Sure, but this bigwig here has a few questions for you.
え
Huh?
こんにちは木の実くん
Hello there, Konomi.
そのあぶくぜりの話を聞かせてもらえるかしら
Do you mind telling me a little about all this money you came into recently? Konomi's expression went blank. If anyone could sniff out danger, it was him. And it stank like his impending doom.
僕勉強したいんで戻っていいでしょうか
Well, you see, I really need to get back to studying, so, is it okay if I head back?
もちろん洗いざらい質問に答え終わったら戻っていいわよ
Of
こっちも時間が惜しいからスムーズな自白を期待するわ
Hello, Saul. Welcome to the stream. Of course. Once you answer all of my questions. We don't have much time either, so I hope you'll confess quickly.
それであぶくぜにって何の話
So again, tell me about this money you recently came into.
あなたの月々のバイト料は2万円前後よねその金額で3日近くも王様の真似事は難しいと思うのだけど
I know you make about 20,000 yen a month from your part-time job. I don't think that's quite enough to live like a king for 3 days. It seemed like the next logical question would be to ask if he had begun a life of crime.
なんだよ会長には関係ないだろ
Why is this even any of your business?
そもそも自白って何ですか？いきなり犯人扱いとか、いくらなんでも横暴じゃねえの？つうか何の事件これ？
You're treating me like a criminal. I don't have anything to confess. This isn't fair. What's going on?
まだ事件かどうかは何とも。最近お金の回りがいい生徒がいると聞いて調べ始めたばかりだから。
Nothing. Yet. We just heard about some students who recently came into a significant amount of money. And we're looking into it.
毎日何万円ももらえる仕事なんて学生には目の毒だし、そういったアルバイトは学校側に報告されてないしね。
A job that pays tens of thousands to begin a day is very tempting to a broke student. But we haven't heard of any such jobs reported to the school.
生徒会として危ない仕事だったら注意してあげないと。
It's our job as the student council to be on the lookout for any dangers to our students. That's all. Alko was still smiling as she inched closer to Kenobi. She had never spoken to him this nicely after what he had done at the entrance ceremony. That alone was enough to make him think he was in big trouble.
それは初耳だな。最近金回りがいい生徒ね。
Really? I haven't heard about anything like that.
俺のは違うよ。今まで貯めた貯金をなんとなく使っただけ。クリスマス前だからこう派手に錠剤しとこうかなって。役落とし的に。
My case is different. I was just using money I'd saved up. It's just before Christmas, so I thought I'd go up wild with my spending. Sort of a cleansing of the spirit, you know?
普通クリスマス前は貯金するもんだけどな。
Isn't this the time of year usually when people are trying to save money?
ダメよ築地君。デリカシーが足りないわ。
No, no, Tsukiji. Let's try to be more sensitive.
残酷な事実は口にしたくはないけど、木の実君にはイブを過ごす相手がいないってことでしょ？学友としてそこを追求したらかわいそうよ。
That being said, I hate to point this out, but it's obvious that Konomi has no date for Christmas Eve. It would be a shame if word of that got around the school. Hello, Dinah. Welcome to the stream.
いるわい本命ぐらい。真剣に同情する方がデリカシーに欠けると思うよ俺は。
I totally have a date. Seriously, she's from another school. You don't know her. Also, you're the one being insensitive here.
あら、じゃあイブ用の資金は取ってあるの？
Oh, really? Then I guess you have some money saved up for your big Christmas Eve date then?
当たり前さ。臨時収入と貯金は別。
Of course I do. Extra income and savings are two separate things.
俺通帳親父に握られてるからさ。予定外の入金とかすぐバレて怒られるんだよ。どこで悪さしてきやがったって。部屋も妹がチェックするしさ。隠し場所とかないんだよ。天井裏に隠したエロ本すら見つけられるんだぜ。万札入った封筒とか見つかった日には警察に連れて行かれる。だから速攻使うしかなくってさ。
Look, my dad is super strict about watching my bank statements. He yelled at me the moment he saw anything odd, think I was doing something bad. And my sister searches my room, so I can't hide anything there. I even found the porn mags I even ended up at the ceiling! The ceiling! If they found an envelope full of cash, they'd take me right down to the police station. So I used the money right away.
Konomi laughed awkwardly as if he was ashamed. He wasn't even aware of just how much he had let it slip. Oh my god.
へえ、臨時収入？さっきと話違うみたい。
Oh? Extra income? That's not what you said earlier.
いやーそれはほらバイト先のボーナスみたいな。5000円ぐらい上乗せしてもらったの。はんなちゃった。ちょっとだけだって。事件性とかないって。
No, I mean, it was just a bonus from my part-time job. They just give me an extra 5,000 yen. Just a little. Nothing crazy.
万札入った封筒について詳しく。
So, why were you talking about an envelope full of cash?
うわ、話せば話すほど食い違っていくぜ。なんだこれ、孔明の罠か。
I'm talking to myself into a hole here. Are you trying to entrap me or something?
会長近い。ほらすごい、なんか寒い。しかもローファーじゃなくてブーツですか。この前封じられた俺の記憶が蘇りそうなんですけど。
You're getting a little close. You're kind of scaring me. Also, are you wearing boots? You know, this feels oddly familiar.
Kenomi backed away slowly.
木の実くん、時間がないって言ったの、もう一度アピールするべきかしら。
Kenomi, do I have to remind you that we're running short on time here?
直接体に。
I don't want to have to get physical with you. The threat of a kick to the face from Alco was enough to show him that she was serious.
わかった、話すってばもう。
Okay, I'll talk.
臨時収入ってのは本当だよ。新しいバイトがあってさ、そこにしずきを紹介したら先輩にボーナスもらったんだよ。
Yes, I'm making extra income from a new part-time job. I got a bonus for introducing Suzuki to them, that's all.
なんですって。
What did you just say? If Kenomi really was working at the same part-time job as Soujirou, she wanted to get as much information from him as she could. This was the exact response she had wanted from Kenomi, if not better. But she felt dizzy from the implications.
紹介したらボーナスをもらえるって、それ。
So you get a bonus from getting other people to join? That sounds like... It was the oldest trick in a book for pyramid schemes and other unscrupulous business practices.
いや、それがさ、
It's not what you think.
しずきが稼ぎを増やしたいって言うんで、ちょい怪しいバイトを紹介したんだよね。
Suzuki said he was looking to make some extra money, so I told him about this kind of shady job.
This went back to all the way before final exams. Kenomi told Soujirou about a job he'd heard of from an older student. Since the job required a kind, honest young man, Kenomi reluctantly gave up on it for himself and instead passed it on to a friend he thought fit that description.
信じられない。そんな怪しい話にクラスメートを放り出しておいて、まだ友人顔するとか。
I can't believe you did that to someone you consider a friend! You yourself knew it sounded shady.
木の実くん、普段何考えて生きてるの？
What were you thinking?
友達でも紹介するでしょ、こういうの。
Huh? Why wouldn't I pass something like this on to a friend?
むしろ本当の友情ってこういうものよ。しずきも助かって俺も潤うんだからさ。無償の友情とかもう流行んないですよ。
Dude needed help, so I tried to help him out. Plus, we both profited.
そりゃそうだけど、そういうのはちゃんとケツ持つ覚悟がある時だけ口にするものじゃないの？
Well, yeah. But then you also have to do your due diligence first before you tell them about something like that!
何それ、めんどくさい。会長、男同士の友情に幻想持ちすぎだってば。基本俺たちみんなバカよ。
That's way too much effort for a guy like me. I don't think you understand how friendship between guys works. You realize we're all dumb, right?
あなたを見てると本気でそう思えてくるから不思議ね。
I do start to believe that the more I look at you, honestly.
飛び丸、あんたよくこんなのとつるんでるわね。
How do you hang out with him, Tobimaru?
はいはい、そこまで。説教するならまた後でな、青崎。
Okay, that's enough. You can lecture him later.
そいつ素でバカだから、本気で構成させたかったら1日使うぞ。
It'll take at least a full day to reform someone as dense as him.
いや、足りますよ。ちゃんと一日で構成できます、僕。
Hey, come on. Give me a little credit at least. I can reform in a day.
ただ寝ると忘れちゃうだけで。
I'll probably forget everything once I sleep on it, though.
ほらな。ま、てめえがバカだって自覚している分、気づいてないやつよりは付き合いやすい。
Hey, at least you're self-aware. It's easier than talking to someone who doesn't realize they're an idiot.
この若さで、情けは人のためならずを実践してる野郎はそういねえし。
It's not many people who realize that compassion is not for other people's benefit at such a young age.
納得。確かにあんたと気が合いそうな性格ね。
That makes sense. I guess I can see how you two would get along then.
いや参ったな。
Wait, huh?
なんだよ二人とも。いくら俺でも照れるじゃんか。今俺のこと褒めてなかった？
Are you both trying to pick on me? I thought you were just both praising me just now.
褒めてね。
We're not praising you.
褒めてないわよ。
Definitely not.
ですよね。
Thought so.
Here we go with Konomi leading the way. Alko and Tofimaru arrived at the part-time job in question. I have to go for a little bit. I will be right back. So just hold on a little bit, you guys. All right, back for a bit. I'm gonna have to. What I'm gonna have to do is I can do another 10 or so minutes of stream, 10 to 15 minutes more, and then I'm gonna have to put it on pause for about a half hour. So and then we'll finish this section. So just telling you guys what's up. With Konomi leading the way, Aoko and Dobimaru arrived at the part-time job in question. They moved past the new entertainment district in front of the station and into the seedy part of 2nd Street. Aoko pointed to where she had lost Soujirou when she was following him.
この辺りね。木の実くん、そのバイト先ってどこ？
Yeah, everything's fine. Don't worry, you guys. It was right around here. So, Konomi, where is this place?
Just over there.
Konomi pointed at a 4-story office building. The entrance is on one side of the 1st floor. At first glance, it looked no different from an apartment complex. The hallway on the 1st floor continued around to the back of the building. Stairs were located at the beginning of that hallway, were the first thing you saw after entering.
ちょっとそこの路地裏に入りましょう。
Let's go into that back alley. Aoko hurried off to the back alley where they were not likely to be seen. 3 students stuck out like a sore thumb in an entertainment district like this.
で、中はどうなってんの？
So what goes on in here?
事務所って言ってたけど、どんな仕事？
You said it was an office, but what's the work like?
俺に聞いてんの？やだな。俺が知ってるのはここまでだぜ。俺だって先輩に言われただけで中のことなんて知らないし。
He doesn't even do the job himself?
先輩が紹介料くれただけだし。
Oh my god.
Huh? You're asking me? That's literally all I know. I just heard about the job from that student. I don't know the details. I brought Soujirou here, they gave me the money, and that was it.
Their top suspect just admitted he knew no further details. Hosuke Konomi, co-defendant, or perhaps what they thought might have been the main culprit, was really no more than an annoying witness.
参った。ここまで無責任だといっそすがすがしい。
Well, this is no good. I still can't believe you're this irresponsible, Konomi!
ところで木の実くん、西部劇とか見たことある？役に立たない情報提供者の末路とかご存知かしら？
Have you ever seen any westerns? Do you know what they do with informants who are no longer useful?
いや、俺映画って苦手なんだよ。でもセーラー服と機関銃なら見た。主演目当てで。
I don't really watch many movies, honestly. I have seen Sailor Sid Machine Gun, though. Mostly because I think the lead actress is hot.
そう？残念ね。夕日のガンマンぐらいは見とけばよかったのに。ま、どうあれ、情報提供者は悲惨な死を遂げるんだけど。
Oh, that's too bad. You should at least watch for a few dollars more sometime. The informant in that film made an untimely demise, by the way.
やる気満々だぜこの女。殿下、こんな教授ほったらかしにしちゃまずいって。首輪とかつけないとさ。
Are you serious? Your Highness, you need to put a collar on this girl. She's like a wild dog over here.
って築地？
Tsukiji?
しけた顔しちゃって。
Why are you making that face?
あのビルが何か知ってんの？
Do you know something about that building?
まずいな。
This is bad.
知ってるも何も。あれは最近やってきた詐欺まがいのセールス屋だ。英会話セットの販売と何ら変わらねえ。
I know all about it. They're a fraudulent sales company that just came into town. They're a complete racket.
Aoko was sad to hear that the truth was as bad as she thought. Konomi seemed confused as usual.
それ、確かなの？飛丸。
Are you sure about that?
なあ、親父の秘書さんから聞いた話だ。間違いない。
Definitely. My dad heard it from his secretary and she wouldn't lie.
表向きは新興宗教なんだが、やってることは羽毛布団の販売だとさ。じいさまばあさま相手に 質の低い羽毛布団を高額で売りつけているらしい。
They front is a kind of new religion, but they're actually selling down quilts. They target the elderly and sell them these super low quality quilts at extremely marked up prices.
あの事務所も貸し事務所だ。1ヶ月もこの町で稼いだらあっさりドローンするつもりだろう。
They're a leased office, so after they make their money here for a month or so, they're probably planning on skipping town.
間違いなく宗十郎は騙されてるな。最高のカモだろ。詐欺師にとっちゃ。
Soujirou is most certainly being scammed. He'll be the perfect target for a group like that.
Tobimaru slumped his shoulders in defeat. Aoko, however, was already in full-on battle mode.
よし、潰す。その後、木の実は学校の旗のところに吊るす。
I'll put a stop to this, and then I'm gonna string you up on the school's flagpole, Konomi!
え、ジカ今のセリフだと縄じゃなくて首脊髄にぐっさり殺人
What? You mean you're gonna hang me? That's murder, you know.
いや、待て、青崎。それだと辻褄が合わん。
Wait a second, Ozaki. Something's not right here.
宗十郎は大金を持ってたんだよな。
Yeah,
そ
exactly.
れじゃあ、カモとは呼べねえぞ。
Soujirou had wants of cash, right? And how is he being scammed?
そういえばそうだった。木の実くんの発言に気を取られすぎて、あの大金のことを忘れてた。
You're right. I got so caught up with Konomi that I forgot all about the money.
あれってことは、まさか。
So, does that mean...
ああ、騙されている側だったら、金は減っていく。
Like, what are they doing? Like...
Right, if he was being scammed, he'd be the one losing money.
だが、増えてるなら話は別だ。考えたくねえが、宗十郎のやつはセールス側に回ってるんじゃないか。
Like, are they using him to hold the money? Like, that's what it feels like.
But he's making money. I hope it isn't true, but maybe Soujirou's the one doing all the scamming.
信じられない。宗十郎が詐欺グループの一員になっている。
I can't believe it. Do you really think he joined a group of scammers?
はあまさかしずきに騙されるようなやつはいねえよ。だいたい嘘つけないじゃんあいつ。羽毛布団を売りさばくとか絶対無理だって。
Are you kidding me? Who in their right mind would be duped by Suzuki? He couldn't lie his way out of a paper bag. There's no way he's out here scheming.
だから、宗十郎自身、それが悪質な詐欺だと気づいてないんじゃないか。あいつはあいつで、心からいいものだと思って売ってるんだよ。真心の塊で。
Yeah, but maybe he doesn't realize what he's doing is scamming people. He probably really believes he's selling a good product.
おおなるほどそりゃ納得だ。あの純真さんがお年寄りに大人気ってわけだな。やるじゃんしずき。今度会ったら俺もお裾分けしてもらった。
Well, that makes sense. His pure innocence probably just the thing old folks like to see in a salesman. Maybe he'll give me a cut of his profits next time I see him. Yeah!
木の実くんの構成は今後の課題として。
Looks like I'll have to teach you a lesson after all.
どうしよう飛び丸。もう少し様子を見た方がいいと思う。仮にしずきくんが関わってたら、彼にも詐欺罪が適用される。まだ未成年だけど。
So what do we do, Tobimaru? Do we wait it out and gather more information? If he's really involved, he could be arrested for fraud. Though he is still a minor at least.
あくまで従業員だから実刑はかからねえとは思うが、敵さんはあれで食ってる連中だからな。宗十郎が雇われた時の契約書の内容次第だ。
If he's just an employee, he probably won't get any kind of real sentence. I guess it all depends on what his contract said when they hired him.
そうよね。下手したら宗十郎自身もう入会してるかもしれない。
Yeah, that's true. He might already be a member of their group by now. Aoko looked a lot more cool-headed now. Tobimaru had been serving with her on the student council for over a year. He knew exactly what she was thinking at a time like this.
入会していたら脱会は難しいな。あいつ本人にその気がなくとも、ハンコの力は絶大だ。
If he signed a contract, it'll be hard to get him out of it. Even if he wants to leave, it's legally binding.
それで、青崎、どこまでやる気だ？
How far do you want to go with this?
営業停止は最低ライン。進行は自由だって言うなら、よその土地でやってもらうまでよ。
We have to at least stop their business. If they want to say they're free to practice their beliefs, they'll have to go worship elsewhere.
だろうな。そんな顔してるぜ、お前さん。
I could tell by looking your face you weren't messing around.
で、Soujirouはどうする？とりあえずやめさせるか？
What do we do about Soujirou then? Get him to quit first?
当然。けど、もう彼だけの問題じゃないわ。そもそもうちの生徒を雇おうとした時点で、私たちの問題よ。
Of course. This isn't only his problem anymore. The fact that they're trying to recruit our students makes it our problem too.
しずき君とは関係なしで、あの事務所潰すから。
We have to take them down, regardless of Suzuki's involvement.
いいけどな。厄介だぞ、あの手の連中は。サラ金と同じで、法律上は何の問題もね。
Fine, but you know they won't go down without a fight. They're technically a legal business, like predatory loan services.
警察じゃせいぜい厳重注意レベル。下手に商売の邪魔をすれば、損害賠償と言い出しかねえ。せいてはことを何とやらだ。
The police can only give them a warning, and if we disrupt their business, they'll try and sue us for damages. We shouldn't rush into this.
分かってる。まずは会社の概要と社長の素性、構成員の数を調べながら被害者の洗い出し。
I know. First, we need to find out more about their company, who their president is, how many employees they have. We also need to look for possible victims, then we can... Yeah, all these stuff would take way more chapters. Aoko suddenly stopped talking in the middle of her detailed plans.
どうした、青崎。
What's wrong?
け。
Tobimaru noticed right away what Aoko had spotted. Aoko was looking at the crowd on the street. A familiar young man wearing a coat was walking to the lively 2nd Street. He walked confidently up to the office building and disappeared inside. He hadn't seemed to notice the word trio watching from the shadows. The young man, clearly Soujirou Suzuki, had just started his shift, still oblivious to the severity of the situation he was in. That little... Aoko was shaking with rage.
待て、落ち着け、青崎。気持ちはわかるが、あいつに悪気はだな。
Calm down. I know you feel, but he doesn't realize what he's doing.
ああ、もう、なんか無性に頭きた。
I just can't stand this! Aoko raised up her head in fury and clenched her fists. She was no longer the usual calm and collected self. This was the student council president who ruled with an iron fist, fueled by her own righteous indignation.
飛び丸、応援団の美濃先輩に連絡取って。今すぐの団員20人ほど集めてきて。
Tobimaru, call up Mino and tell him we need 20 of the most intimidating guys from his team here immediately.
喧嘩になるかもしれないから、それなりの装備込みでって。
We're gonna have like a fucking Yakuza fight. Tell them to gear up, because we might have a fight on our hands. Aoko darted in the main street as she barked her orders. She looked like an esteemed general charging into battle against an enemy squadron.
ミノって、応援団の団長のか。しかも20人って、お前一体何する気だ？
Mino, you mean the captain of the cheer squad? Also 20 guys, what the hell are you planning on doing?
決まってるでしょ。殴り込みよ。
What do you think? We're gonna crack some skulls!
まずは法律面での制裁か。なんて考えが甘かった。学生騙して私服を肥やすような悪党には物理的な制裁で十分よ。そもそもスケールが小さいっての。何よ本物の光って。こんなしけた街で羽毛布団とか売ってん
Oh my god, it is sure a pee-pee. Oh my god. Any organization that's grooming students into committing crimes on their behalf only has a physical force! I mean, what is this light of truth garbage on their sign? They can't just come into our town and sell their dingy down quilts to our unsuspecting citizens!
待て落ち着け。さっきまでの平和的なプランはどこに行った？悪党を暴力で押さえつけていいのは警察だけだ。いいから踊りやがれ。
Okay, just calm down. What happened to our peaceful plan just a minute ago? Only the police are allowed to use violence against criminals. Come back here.
Hey!
何よ、その警察が使えないから私たちが出張るんじゃない。文句あるなら大案出せ。
What was that for? We're doing this precisely because you said the police can't do much. If you have a problem with it, then come up with a better plan!
文句はね、まず落ち着けって話だ。
I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I'm just telling you to calm down for a minute. Sheesh.
そもそも代案なんざ立てるまでもね。お前さん、さっきはどんな手を考えてたか口にしてみろ。まずは法律面での制裁をとか言ってただろ。
I haven't had time to think of an alternative plan, even if I wanted to. What were you thinking of earlier? He says nothing about going through the legal system.
そんなのあんただって分かってるでしょ。
You know what I was getting
あ
at.
の会社の調査と並行して詐欺の被害に遭った人たちを探して私たちが間に入って連盟を作る。
While we investigate the company, we should also help victims of the scam come together.
ご老人ばかりを標的にしてるのはおじいさんたちは世間の事情に疎いと見くびってるからだろうし。
The reason why this company is targeting the elderly is likely because they're out of touch with the times.
なんでおじいさんたちだけじゃわからない問題を私たちでフォローしてあげれば被害者の会ぐらいは作れるわ。
If we can help them understand this issue, they'll be able to work together.
よーし、その調子だ。
That sounds great.
確かに一人一人で掛け合っても連中にとっちゃ痛くも痒くもね。横のつながりを作るのは大事だからな。
The victims will be able to do more if they work together as a group rather than as individuals.
それで契約をなかったことにして取られた金を取り戻すか？
And what? We assume there was no kind of contract involved. We just try and get their money back?
それは無理でしょうね。
Yeah, but that's probably going to be impossible.
契約書は絶対よ。頭くるけど書かれたことは覆らない。今からできるのはこれ以上の被害を抑えることだけ。ローンの解約、入会の破棄、それと
They almost definitely will have a contract. It's annoying, but if they sign something, we can't overturn that. All we can do now is try and stop the damages from getting worse. Cancel loans, cancel memberships, and
それと
And?
可能な限り金銭を回収する。
get as much money back as we can.
羽毛布団ならクーリングオフが適用されるはず。すべての返品は無理でもやるに越したことはないわ。
There should be a cooling off period for the down quilts, so some might be able to get a refund.
上出来だ。それで行こうぜ、青崎。
That sounds like a plan. Let's go with that.
何もお前さんが悪役になる必要はね。せっかくの法治国家だ。平和的に解決しよう。
There's no need for you to become the bad guy here. Try to solve this peacefully and within the law.
それはそうだけど、こんなの部外者だから言えることよ。詐欺に遭った人たちからすれば取られたものは取られたままなんだし。
That's true, but it's easy for you to say that since you weren't one of the victims. For those that were scammed, that money is lost forever.
それを気に病むのはそれこそお前の仕事じゃねえ。
Yeah, but it's not your job to worry about that.
まずはクマリンに連絡しよう。あいつ商店街の娘だからな。被
Yes,
害者の調
Kumari.
査に向いているだろう。
We should get in touch with Kumari. She was raised in the shopping district and should know the best way to go about things.
小鹿に
Kajika?
あんまり荒ごとに巻き込みたくないけど仕方ないか。
I hate to get her involved in this, but we don't have much of a choice.
OK、私の方から連絡する。飛び丸は美濃先輩への電話お願い。
Okay, I'll get in touch with her. I still need you to call up Mino.
あ？こっちの話なら応援団必要ねえだろ。
Huh? Why does only the cheer squad with a plan?
必要だってば。脅し要員だけじゃなく おじいさん間の連携に走ってもらわなくちゃ。
They're good for more than just intimidation. They can help support the victims when we find them.
先輩たちいかつい顔して優しいでしょ。クーリングオフは書面に起こすことが大前提。書類に弱いおじいさんたちの代わりに先輩たちに代筆してもらうのよ。
I know Mino's team looks scary, but they're all good at heart, right? Once we've made sure there's a cooling off period for those contracts, they can take care of the paperwork for them.
なるほど、そりゃいい。数の暴力だな。連中も20人からの返品は夢にも思ってねえだろうさ。
That's not a bad idea. I bet those idiots won't know what to do when 20 big strong guys coming in demanding refunds.
Alco and Toby Mara both nodded in agreement. Kenobi had been completely left to the wayside in this whole discussion.
なあ、クーリングオフってなんだよ。
Hey, so, what's a cooling off period?
俺聞いたことねえんだけど。
I've never heard of it.
買った商品を返品して購入時の金額を返してもらうことよ。日本じゃ10年ぐらい前から正式に採用されてるけど、木の実くん聞いたことない？
It's a clause that allows you to return an item you purchased and get a refund for the full amount paid at the time of purchase. It was officially put into practice in Japan about 10 years ago. You really haven't heard of it?
いや、全く。ただの返品と違うの？
No, never. How is that any different from a normal return?
同じだけど、こっちは国が後ろ盾になってくれるわ。本物の光が法を盾にするなら、こっちも法で突き破るだけよ。
Well, it's the same, just legally protected. The light of truth wants to use the law to their advantage. We can do the same.
おじいさんたちには馴染みのない話だろうから、そこは私たちが代わりにやるってわけ。
The elderly victims probably won't know a thing about it either, so that's where we're gonna fight for them. In reality, only a very narrow range of products were applicable for the satisfaction period law, and it was currently unclear if those handled by the light of truth fell under that umbrella. If it was not applicable under this law, Alco would have to think of another plan. However, not 30 minutes later, that worry would vanish when they got the chance to examine an actual quilt sold by the light of truth. Alright, you guys. I'm going to put the stream on pause for about a half hour. I will be back then, okay? So, I'll see you then, alright? Bye. All right, we are back. Woo! Okay. Once Aoko has an established plan, she will not waver from it. They had made a cafe with a view on the office building, their command center. And after they got together others from the student council for backup, their one-day blitz tactic plan began.
そうと決まれば迅速にね。
I want this over with quickly.
二人とも連絡係よろしく。サクッと今日中に決着をつけましょう。
You two, take care of all the communications. Let's get this done today. Toby Maru sighed at the thought of trying to complete everything in a day's time. Konomi, on the other hand, wondered why he had been dragged in to help. Although Toby Maru got Naoko to abandon the idea of a physical fight, Aoko knew that the contract plan was contract plan would be difficult to pull off and continued to research other options. There were many contradictions that need to be met for this plan to actually work. The major issue was the amount of time elapsed from the time of purchase. For consumable goods, the time limit for a legal return was 8 days. Damn, that sucks. God, if there were 30 or so victims, this would probably be only applicable to 1 or 2 of them. If that were the case, they needed to look for some other consumer protection besides the satisfaction clause.
何々？安価なものを不当な金額で売りつけた場合、暴利行為として公序良俗違反で契約が無効となる場合がある。ただし公序良俗を根拠とするって。何よこれ、ほとんど売る側の勝ちじゃない。
Wait, really? If items of low value are sold at an unfair price, the contract may be invalidated as profiteering. However, this may be found in public order and morality. Doesn't this genuinely always favor the seller?
疑わしきは罰せずが法廷の基本だし、水かけ論じゃこっちが不利だ。
The courts can't punish solely based on the basis of suspicion. We'd be at the disadvantage if we came to an extended argument. It was a difficult situation. They wouldn't be able to stand out to an experienced group of scam artists with their limited knowledge of the law. They need to fight fire with fire, or in this case, scam with a scam.
騙し取られた金額分だけ美味しい話で騙し取るって話か。
So basically, we scammed them out of the same amount of money they scammed out of the victims. To do that, they need more intel. Aoko was studying the materials they collected for something they could use.
お待たせ。とりあえず追加候補10人分の住所と布団の現物持ってきたわよ。
Thanks for reading, everyone. I got the addresses of 10 additional candidates and one of the actual quilts sold.
サンキュー。さすがくまり。本気出せば仕事の早いこと早いこと。
Thank you. You really get things done fast when you get your mind to it. Aoko took the list of victims from the student council secretary, Kochika Kumari, and immediately contacted Tobimaru on his pager. Although pagers could only receive short messages like "call me," they were powerful means of communication in an age when people relied on public telephones. Tobimaru called the cafe to give Aoko an update and hear about the list of newly discovered victims.
被害者の会はできたのね。仕切りは青山くんにやらせて。一応相手への牽制として名刺も作ってくれると助かる。
You got all the victims together. Let Aoyama handle the proceedings. If you get some business cards made up to throw them off, that'd be helpful too.
事務局はほら、文化祭の時に作った偽団体あるじゃない？あそこの電話番号にしておいて。電話番は山城先生に頼み込むわ。
Remember that fake organization we made up for the school festival? Use that and put the phone number on the cards. We could have Mr. Yamashiro field the calls. Damn, They are really going out on this. My god, she is going to such lengths for Soujirou. The victims' advocacy group was currently just over 10 members. The group's aim was to help the victims of the scam get their money back and remove themselves from the light of truth. Some of the victims had not even realized they'd been scammed, so with some explanation, about 10 more members were added. It helped that it was polite, young, well-dressed students who were giving them this information. Hello, Aromatic. Welcome to the stream. I probably will at some point read Tsukihime. Yeah. The elderly generally seem more accepting of anyone who is around the age of their grandchildren.
にしてもよくここまで調べたもんだわ。否定の20人なんてあっという間だったわね。
We've done a good job getting this far. We got our goal of 20 people in no time.
あんたの言う条件が分かりやすかったから。
You laid out the conditions clearly, which made it easy for us.
60過ぎのご老人で一人暮らしで町内会に入っていない人を探せばよかったんだし、やってることは本物の光の販売員と一緒。
We looked for anyone over the age of 60 who lived alone and was not a member of their local neighborhood association, which is exactly what the salespeople from the Light of Truth did.
でもこんなんでなんとかなる話じゃないと思うけど。
Our work is just getting started, though.
結局のところ抗議するのが関の山じゃ。青崎ちょっと何薄気味悪い顔で笑ってるのよ。
It's still gonna be all we can do to make a complaint against their... Azaki? What's with that weird smile all of a sudden? Alka looked up after being called out by her friend.
いやー、面白いもん見つけちゃって。
Oh. I just found something very interesting is all.
成果の乏しい戦いになると思ってたけど、風向きが変わったわ。ほら、見てクマ。この羽毛布団のマーク。
We may be fighting an uphill battle, but this might change the tides in our favor. Look here at this tag.
Hmm?
Huh? Aqua showed her the product label sewn into the down quilt. There on the tag looks like the Japanese Industrial Standards logo. The Japanese Industrial Standards help maintain the quality of industrial products in Japan. Products with this mark are required to be produced in accordance with the Industrial Standardization Law.
あれ ?JLS?
It looks like a mirrored JLS. They're like doing it wonky on purpose. Huh? JLS?
そう。こうなると契約書が逆に武器になる。百戦錬磨かと思ったけど、実際はウサギしか相手にしない素人ってこと。
Yep, that actually makes the contracts work in our favor. I thought we were dealing with professionals, but it turns out they're actually a group of amateurs.
ええ、うまく話を持っていけば全額返済も夢じゃないわ。勝利の勝ち時はさぞ気持ちのいいものになるでしょうね。
If we do this right, we get all the money back to the victims. It's gonna feel so good to put these scammers in their place. Alka took a seat, still grinning from ear to ear. She didn't ring Tobimaru's pager. Instead, she dialed a different number on the red phone while humming to herself. Alka heard the familiar ringtone through the receiver.
青崎、築地に連絡入れるんじゃないの？作戦が変わったって。
Hazaki? I thought you were calling Tsukiji. You need to tell him about our change of plans.
それは後。今大事なのは交渉役を誰にするかよ。私や飛丸じゃさすがに貫禄不足だしね。
I will after this. Right now I have to figure out who to put in charge of the negotiations. I don't think Tobimaru or myself could do such an important role justice. Really?
こっちが有利になったとしても、まだ状況は五分だし。
Even if we have the advantage for now, we're still in an evenly matched battle. Hello, Blink. Welcome to the stream.
会話次第じゃひっくり返されるだろうから、被害者の会の代表はそれはもう少年のひん曲がった悪魔でないと。
They could completely turn the tables on us in discussions, so we need someone ruthless to represent us. Is it Alice?
それあんたのことだと思うんだけど、違うの？
Fate's Stay Night, I'll probably get to that eventually. The thing is, I don't know how well you guys would receive it, because I'm not completely blind on Fate's Stay Night. I've seen the original anime from way back in the day. The Studio Dean anime. I thought that was going to be you.
いえいえ、こういうのは社会的立場のある大人じゃないと務まりません。
No, 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 no. For this, we need an adult with some kind of social standing.
安心してくまり。ぴったりのやつを知ってるから。
Don't worry. I actually know the perfect person for the job.
ま、詐欺師には詐欺師ってね。
Is it her sister? Let's just say you need a scammer to fight a scammer.
この町には人を言いまかすのだけが仕事のやつって言っちゃったりするのよ。今日もやることなくて暇してるだろうし、たまには働いてもらわないと。
Oh, I've definitely heard that, Blink. It's just that I know what happens, so it's not completely blind. Like I'm not ruling it out. I'm not ruling it out at all. But I'm just worried how people would receive it since I've seen the anime, and I know in general, like, you know, what the twists are and like what happens. I have not seen the Fate Zero anime though, or the Heaven's Feel movies. I know someone who's so jealous to win arguments against people in town. I doubt she has anything going on today, so I thought we might put her to work.
彼女にかかっちゃサラ金だろうが教祖だろうが、1時間で精神崩壊。裸足で山に逃げ込むわ。
Anyone who goes up against her is guaranteed to have a mental breakdown in an hour, no matter what kind of scam they're running. Who is she talking about? Alko kept the phone receiver at her ear as she delivered these cutting remarks. The ringtone has long since gone silent.
もしもし、まさかとは思いますが、今の話は私のこと
Who
で
is
すか？
this? I think it's a character that we have not met. Fuck. Hello? I don't want to assume anything, but were you talking about me this whole time, Alko? Oh, okay, I'll give her Beatrice. An eloquent woman's voice could be heard from the phone's earpiece. Alko innocently said her greetings and smiled like a hunter who had just gotten their prey to take the bait. You know I've always thought this about you.
あなたには年長者への敬意が足りていないようですね。
But
青
you
子さん。
really don't have enough respect for your elders, Alko.
Huh? Huh?
Tobimaru and Kanomi had returned for their tasks and stood there wide-eyed. The person Alko invited to the cafe looked so out of place it was a shock to everyone.
はーい、ゆいかさん。わざわざ来てもらって助かるわ。
Thank you so much for coming, Yuika.
事情は電話で説明したけど、もう少し詳しく説明する？
I pretty much told you all the details over the phone. But is there anything else you want me to go over?
結構です。本物の光のことは、先ほど律香から報告を受けましたから。あなたに享受していただく事柄は一つもありません。
That's okay. I received a full report about the light of truth from Ritsuka. I do not require any lectures from you on the matter.
ありゃま、ご機嫌なのね。よかった。そのテンションのまんま勝ち込みお願いね。一般人の一人や二人、ゆいかさんが本性を出せば、睨むだけでそっとさせられるでしょ？
Well, aren't we in a mood? That's perfect, though. Take that attitude to them. When you're in the zone, your glare alone is enough to make someone faint.
そうなの？このお姉さん、間教会のシスターさんだよね。俺、密かに憧れてたんですけど。
Whoa, seriously? Isn't this lady a nun at Ida Church? I actually really look up to her.
いや、そんな場合じゃねえ。どうも、木南宝介っす。青崎さんとはあんまり仲良くありません。
Oh crap, no, it's not the time. Hi, my name's Hosuke Kinomi. Aozaki and I aren't really friends.
Konami was truly trying to earn points by showing he also was not that friendly with Aoko. Sister Yuika gave him an angelic smile back.
これはご丁寧に。相田教会で装飾を務める須瀬ゆいかです。はじめまして、大介さん。
Well, hello there. I'm indeed a sister at Ida Church. My name is Yuika Suse. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Hosuke.
いやー、すんげえ。本当にシスターだよ、シスター。会長、とんでもない隠し玉連れてきたな。
Ah, this is crazy. She's really a nun. I can't believe you had something this amazing up your sleeve the whole time, Aoko.
あれ？でもゆいかさんに何してもらうの？いや、俺はいてくれるだけで嬉しいけど。
Wait, but what are you gonna have her do? I mean, I'm fine with just having her around in general.
まあ、大体想像できるが。
I think we can all imagine.
はじめまして、シスターユイカ。三崎高校生徒会副会長、築地飛丸です。
It's a pleasure to meet you, Sister Yuika. My name is Tobimaru Tsukichi, Student Council Vice President.
Tobimaru didn't look so well. Perhaps he'd figure out where all this course of events was headed. The JLS label was indeed illegal. That discovery made Aoko realize how they could get the victim's money back and run the light of truth out of town completely. Sister Yuika was her solution.
てっきり証拠に物を言わせて訴えられたくなければ示談で済ませろ、全額返して出て行けって話かと思ったが。
I thought the plan was to let the evidence do the talking. And if they don't want to be sued, get them to settle out of court. They pay back the money and get out of town.
恐ろしい女だぜ。追い出すだけじゃなく、スカンピンにして放り出そうって腹が。
But this is something else. She doesn't want to just kick them out of town. She wants to fleece them for all they got.
は？なんでそうなるの？何？美人なだけじゃなくシスターさんってそんな権利持ってるの？
Huh? How could she even do that? I mean, I know she's beautiful, but does a nun really have that kind of power?
シスターさんがじゃなくてユイカさんの人間力と言うべきね。はい、これ被害者の会からの連名書。一応うちの応援団の先輩たちも待機してるけど、何人か連れて行く？
It's not because she's a nun. That's just kind of the kind of pull Yuika has around here. Anyway, here's the signatures of everyone in the advocacy group. The cheer team is also helping. Do you want to take some of them?
そうですね。逆上して手を挙げられては後片付けが面倒ですので、抑止力として5人ほど。
If things get too heated, it's going to be a pain to resolve later. Let us bring 5 to keep the peace.
あとは青子さんが同行してくれるのでしたら、私としては不満はありません。
You are also welcome to accompany me if you'd like, Aoko.
え？どういうこと？もしかしてシスターさんが話つけに行くの？会長のがよくね？
Huh? Wait, is Yuika gonna talk to him? I thought you were gonna do that, Prez.
いいの。ユイカさんはこう見えて荒事の専門家なんだから。ねえ、ユイカさん。
No, it's fine. She may not look it, but she's actually a specialist in these kind of situations. Isn't that right, Yuika?
あなたほどではありませんが。
Not as much as you, but yes, you could say that.
いいでしょう。今回は利益が一致します。あの事務所の方々が違法を働いているのは事実ですから。
Since that office is indeed operating an illegal business, I'm willing to help. We both will benefit after all.
罪には罰を。善良な人々を、特に私たちの同胞を苦しめた手合いには、相応の痛みが必要です。
Sins must not go unpunished. They must feel the pain that they inflicted upon the good people of this town.
さすが泣く子も黙る鬼のシスター。
You certainly live up to your reputation, sister.
期待してるわ。昔から商売敵を潰すのは得意だものね、あなたたち。
I'm sure you'll win. You've been crushing the competition for a long time now.
言われるまでもありません。
Yes, well...
一つの土地に二つの教えがあっては迷惑です。
There's simply no need for two schools of thought in a single place. Though the two continued to antagonize each other, they entered the office building fighting for the same team. The 5 burly members of the cheer team filed in behind them. They have left behind a glum Tovimaro and a completely clueless Konomi.
わかんねえ。青崎、あの美人さんに何やらせる気なんだよ。
I really don't know what's going on. What is Aozaki trying to get that poor woman to do for her?
そりゃお前、口にはできない残虐行為だろ。相手の弱みを握ったら、とことん叩きのめすのが青崎だからな。
Oh, you do not even want to know what kind of cruelty Aozaki is capable of inflicting upon her enemies.
違法販売をネタにして、契約解除をさせた後に告訴するって流れ。訴えるのはシスターの役目だな。
Once they get the company to terminate everyone's contracts based on the illegal sales, the two will take legal action against them. That's where Sister Yuika comes in.
立場上、学生である青崎よりシスターの方がお題目が立つ。
She's far more qualified than Ozaki, who's just a student.
何よりあの教会、たまに嫌な噂を聞くしな。連中、貯めた財産根こそぎ取られるだけで済めばいいが。
I've heard some less than savory rumors about that church too. This company will be lucky if losing all their funds is the worst that happens.
After taking a few deep breaths, Tovimaro also headed towards the office building.
え？天下も事務所に行くの？怖くない？
You going in there too? Isn't it a little scary?
行かねえよ、おっかねえ。俺のはちょっとした野暮用だ。
I'm not going. Are you crazy? I just have some business to attend to.
てめえも補習に戻れよ。今日の礼はまた改めてくれてやるから。
You need to get back to school. I'll compensate you for all this later, don't worry.
ばっか、補習なんてもう終わってるじゃんか。気がつけばもうすぐ夕方だぜ、夕方。楽しかったからいいけどな。
Man, you know school's done by now, right? It's almost nighttime. Hey, it was fun though.
違いない。あっという間の半日だった。
Oh, you're right. Half the day's gone.
Tovimaro waved goodbye and disappeared into the office building.
Huh?
Wait, what?
Konomi thought it was strange since Tovimaro just said he wasn't going in there. However, he left as well after hearing a noise that sounded like glass breaking on the 3rd floor of the office building. Are we gonna know what happened? A wise man never courts danger, as they say. What? The discussion ended without any major issues. What? And inside of the office is mostly untouched. Only the center line of desks have been pulverized by, oh my god, by Sister Yuika. Things have been resolved peacefully without any bloodshed. The office had been conquered in about an hour, and Aoko was now surveying it. A large desk had gone right through the window, flung through the air with a single swing of Sister Yuika's hand. What? Oh my god, so she's super strong. The sales staff were shaking in the corner like they've just seen the devil incarnate. Sister Yuika brought in the 5 members of the cheer team to see the office's permits and other important documents.
あれ？
Huh? Unfortunately, the one thing Aoko was looking for was nowhere to be found. Soujirou. She wanted to ask the sales staff still quivering in the corner of the room.
ちょっと3時間ぐらい前ここに人畜無害そうなの来なかった？ビルから出てきてないからまだ中にいると思うんだけど。
About 3 hours ago, did you see a harmless-looking teenage boy come in here? I know he hasn't left the building, so he must still be in here somewhere. Everyone shook their heads no. Nobody had seen a student who fit that description in the office. Oh my god, did this actually have nothing to do with what Soujirou was doing? Aoko was looking even more confused at this point.
でもまあ。
Oh well. She was still happy that she'd done a good deed here today. That was... We didn't get to see what happened? Okay, I thought we'd see, like, what she did. Tobimaru entered the office building and headed straight down the hallway. He glanced at the stairs in front of him as he walked by, passing several tenants and heading toward the emergency exit at the back of the building. Tobimaru knew the geography of 2nd Street well. If his memory served correctly, there were some old one-story houses behind the building that had been around forever. There were old tin-roof rental houses that stood against the tides of time. Though overshadowed by the recent trend of 2-story apartments, they were still there, alive and kicking. At the back of the office building, there was a river for processing wastewater. Ugh. Beyond the river and a fence, there were many one-story houses. Next to the building, there was a bridge that crossed over to the other side. It was a shortcut only neighborhood locals would know about. Where the fuck is he going?
大したショートカットだ。地図なんて当てになんねえな。
What is this plot twist?
That was a pretty intense shortcut. Maps can't help you here, that's for sure.
As Tobimaru walked towards the bridge, he saw a familiar face exit one of the old tin-roofed houses. Oh my god. Oh my god, did he actually fucking scam Aoko? Like, he tricked her into thinking that Soujirou was working for those scammers and had her, like, take out that whole business. Like, that whole legal business. Like, I wonder if he's gonna take credit for it in the fucking whole inheritance war. Oh my god. What is Soujirou actually doing? The young man was wearing a coat without a doubt Soujirou Suzuki.
明日もまた来ておくれね。
See you tomorrow. Soujirou crossed the bridge with all the old woman who resided there saw him off.
あれ副会長
Huh? Is that you, Tobimaru?
ああ、奇遇だな、色男。
Oh, fancy meeting you here, Slick.
Two exchanged glances as they crossed paths on the bridge. Soujirou looked fairly spent. That was all Tobimaru needed to see. Soujirou's new job was a lot harder than working for any scam artists. What the... Jeez. They both stopped to talk on the footbridge.
あの辺りに親戚でもいんのか?
You have relatives around there or something?
いや、いない。一つ手に紹介されて、おばあさんの話し相手をしていただけだ。
No.
Oh my god. Wow, he pulled the old freaking double cross.
I was just keeping the old woman who lives there company. Someone told me about it and it sounded like something I could do.
She paid so much money though. For some reason, Soujirou readily revealed what he refused to tell Aoko.
そんな気軽に話していいのか? 守秘義務とかありそうだが。
Is it okay to be talking about it? Sounds like something they might want to be kept secret.
いや、秘密にしなくちゃいけない話でもないんだ。
What?
ただ、話しちゃいけない気が
Was
し
he
ただけ
under
で
a spell? Is Tobimaru also a witch? Wizard? I don't know how it works here.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's not really anything I need to keep quiet about. I just thought maybe I shouldn't before.
飛び丸には出てくるところを見られたし、正直誰かに言いたい気持ちはあった。弱音みたいなものだから 副会長が聞いてくれるならちょうどいい。
You saw me coming out of there, and I actually have been wanting to tell someone about it. I didn't want to complain, but since you asked.
Leaning on the rail of the footbridge, Tokumaru urged him to go on. It turned out that Soujirou's store was nothing out of the ordinary. His new part-time job was to be a home helper in that old one-story house. The resident was a widow who had been left alone after her son moved out to the city.
初めはただのお手伝いだったんだけどね。
At first, I was just helping around the house.
He spoke with a troubled, slightly regretful smile. Maybe he was ashamed of something he'd done? There was a tinge of darkness behind the wry, tormented smile on his face. Tokumaru found himself surprised at his own thoughts and slapped himself lightly on the cheek. This is the way he's punishing himself. He wasn't sure why his imagination was running so wild now.
珍しく浮かない顔だが、あれか？出て行った息子さんとやらに文句があるのか？介護が必要なおふくろさんを放って好き勝手に暮らしていることに？
You seem mildly glum, though. Oh, I get it. You have a problem with the son who left his mom like that, even though she clearly needs help around the house, huh?
どうだろう。確かにおかしな話だとは思う。
I wonder. It is an odd story, I think.
けど、俺はその息子さんを責める気にはなれない。
What happened?
But I don't really mean to blame him. I mean, that's...
What did the son do? Soujirou stopped himself mid-sentence. He didn't think the son hated his mother so much as he did the town. He had probably just found somewhere better to live. And moved away. The fuck? Soujirou swallowed those bitter words.
お手伝いの料金は初めに全部もらってたんだ。今月だけという話なの
What
に
is actually
10万
going
円は
on?
高すぎると思う。
At first, I took the full amount as payment. But I thought 100,000 yen was way too much for a job that'll only last a month.
He trailed off, muttering that he really didn't need that much money. The old woman had thanked him for his honesty. That was part of Soujirou's appeal, most likely. In a matter of days, the old woman put all her trust into Soujirou and treated him like her own grandson.
ああ、それは素直に嬉しいんだけど、問題は。
I was honestly happy about that. The problem is...
She always saw him off with a smile and asked him to return tomorrow. Every time he left, she gave him a stack of cash and hoped that he wouldn't forget her.
ああ？それだけで大金もらってたのか？
Oh, really? That's what you're getting all that money for?
うん。お孫さんの代わりをしてほしいと言われた。
Yeah. She says she wants me to be her grandson.
あなたは信じられるから、これで孫のように振る舞ってくれって。
She says she can trust me, so she wants me to act like I'm her grandson.
なんだそりゃ。少しも信じてねえよそれ。金で動く孫がいるか。そりゃヘルパーと変わらねえ。
Oh, that's crazy. It's hard to believe, but I guess a grandson for hire isn't much different from a house helper.
いや、おばあさんはヘルパーさんにはお金は払わないと言った。信頼できないから。
Huh.
あのおばあさんが信じられるのはお金だけなんだ。
She's clearly very rich, even. But why is she living in such a house like that then? Huh.
No, it's different. She says she doesn't pay helpers because she can't trust them. She says she can only trust money.
She seemed to have some quirks about her, probably because she'd been living alone for so long. By this point, she'd lost all faith in the goodwill of humankind. To her, the bonds of a family were nothing but a fantasy. After being cast aside by her own family for so many years, the only thing that remained faithful to her was the money she'd saved. Over time, this led her to developing a strange complex. For her, the money she scrimped and saved, the last thing she could rely on, was the only way she could conceive of keeping someone in her life.
バカらしい。
That's crazy.
それって結局金で雇った他人じゃねえか。孫の代わりとは言えねえな。
She's just hiring help. It's not like she can just buy a grandson.
それはおばあさんが誰よりも分かってるよ。
I think she knows that more than anyone.
でも偽物だと分かっていてもそれぐらいしか信じられるものはなかったんだ。
Even if she knows it isn't real. That's just how hard it is for her to trust anyone.
おばあさんにとって家に寄りつかなくなったお孫さんは今一番欲しいものだから。その代償として彼女が一番信用できるものを真心として渡してくれたんだ。
What she wants most in this world is for her grandchildren to visit her. But since that's not happening, she turned to the one thing she could trust to make that a reality.
She wasn't buying him, though. She just trusted Soujirou from the bottom of her heart, was thanking him the only way she knew how. She didn't realize how that looked from other people's perspectives.
また厄介な事情に首突っ込んだもんだ。
Well, looks like you really got yourself into a real sticky situation again.
まあ、あんまり深く思い詰めるな。
But hey, try not to worry about it too much.
いい話じゃねえか。命より金が大事だったばあさんが今になって思い出の方に転んだわけだ。まっとうな話だよ。
It's a nice story. She found something in her life that's even more important than money. It's something to be proud of.
そうかな。そうだといいけど。
Really? I hope so.
It was obvious from Soujirou's expression that all this still weighed heavily on him.
なんだよ。煮え切らねえな。どうせお前さんのことだ。もらった金は一銭も使ってねえんだろ。
Come on, cheer up. Knowing you, I bet you haven't spent any of the money she's giving you.
んなことしてりゃ、いずれ年金も底をつく。そうなった時に丸々返すつもりだから、青崎にも黙ってたんじゃないのか？
Are you saving it all up to give back to her when she inevitably runs out? Is that why you didn't tell Aozaki?
なんで飛び丸がそんなこと知ってるんだ？
Huh? How'd you know?
まあ、いや、なんとなくそんな気がした。
It was just a guess. But I know how you are.
Tobimaru decided it was best not to tell Soujirou about all the trouble they went through for him today. He knew Aoko would only make him regret it later if he did.
そっか。でもこの話の一番難しいところはね、飛び丸。
So, let me tell you the worst thing about all this.
その人にはお孫さんはいなかったんだ。
Oh my god.
The truth is, this old lady doesn't have any grandchildren.
は？
Huh?
After a few moments of surprise, Tobimaru let out a sigh. He understood. Being widowed with a son that's moved into the city and grandchildren who never visit. That was a normal, full, and rich life. Sometimes, however, a person's dreams were all that kept them going. The bottom is limitless. For every tragic life, there's another even more tragic than that.
時々油断すると思うんだ。この町について。
You know, sometimes this town catches me off guard.
みんな幸福そうに見えるのに、裏を覗くとそうでもないのはなんでだろうって。なんか町全体に騙されてるみたいだ。
Everyone looks so happy and blessed. But if you look hard enough, you start to see that that's not always the case. It's like the entire town is fooling me.
Tobimaru leaned over the railing and looked down at the bustling town below. In the end, Soujirou's worries stemmed from his feelings lost in this environment. The woman who walked through life alone into old age. Tobimaru struggled with being antagonized by his entire family. Those were both personal matters. Soujirou's problems stemmed from the nebulous entity of the town itself. For every bit of progress made through modernization, there are also people left in the growing misfortune. It didn't matter whether they were unequal in wealth or compassion. It was all the same. The larger a town grows, the harder it becomes for the weak to thrive. For a young man who spent his life in the countryside where everyone helped each other, this was hard to understand.
Soujirou, お前、この町は好きか?
Soujirou, you really like it in this town?
まだわからない。そういう飛び丸は?
I honestly don't know yet. What about you?
まあ似たようなもんだ。好き嫌いも半々で、たまに何もかもどうでもよくなる時はある。
Similar. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't matter either way.
だがまあ、お前さんとは真逆だな。
Then again, I'm kind of the total opposite of you.
俺はこの町のおかげで、てめえの悩みなんざ無視できる。ここに比べりゃマシだってな。空虚であろうと、この忙しさ、節操のなさは捨てたもんじゃねえってな。
In town, I can ignore my problems if I want. It's better than a place like this anyway. There's something to this bustle and chaos that you can't discount, even if it does feel hollow at times.
ここに比べたらマシ?
It's better than here?
ああ、違うな。マシというよりはありって感じか。
Not exactly. I just mean that I'd have more options.
バイトしてればたまに思うだろ。街ってのは隙間を作らないように回ってるんだ。欠席にしろ空席にしろ、空きができたらすぐに埋められるようにできている。
I'm sure you thought this at your part-time jobs. But a town like this never leaves any gaps. Whenever there's an opening, that opening is gonna be filled.
当たり前のようで、こいつはよくできた共同体なんだよ。
The city is a really well-constructed community when you think about it.
昨日までは誰でもなかった他人が、明日には必要な隣人になってるかもしれない。
Someone you never knew the day before might be a neighbor you need to call the very next day.
昨日まではなかった街角に、新しい建物ができていることもある。
Street corner that had nothing on it yesterday might have a new building on it today.
まるで毎日が切った縫ったの大手術だ。それでもうまく回ってることに真剣に感心する。
Every single day in the city is like living through a major surgery in progress. It's seriously impressive that it works as well as it does.
本当に何かの弾みで思うんだよ。
Something always makes me think that.
俺はてめえだけで生きてるんじゃなくて、どうでもいい誰かのどうでもいい頑張りのおかげでこうして管巻けてるんだってな。
I'm not just living on my own. I'm able to survive thanks to the accomplishments of people I'll never know about.
持ちつ持たれつだ。そういう巡り合わせを成立させているだけでも、どんなバランスなんだって呆れるわけだ。
It's all a bunch of give and take. The fact that it works at all is a feat in and of itself.
Just as the mountains are alive, so is the city. Tobimaru didn't seem to like the way the living creature had manifested itself. But even still,
そうか。敬意を払ってるんだな、飛び丸は。
I see. You really respect it, huh?
まあ、照れくさいが、そういうこと。
I mean, it's a little embarrassing, but yeah.
as someone who was born and raised in the city, Tobimaru was thankful that complete strangers were able to help each other out.
つうか、お前さんは贅沢すぎる。
Honestly, you're just asking for too much.
初めから好きなところに住めるやつなんていねえだろ。生まれる場所は選べねえしな。単純な話、自分が住むって決めたところを好きになるしかねえってことだ。
Nobody likes where they live in the beginning. You can't choose where you were born, after all. You have to learn to like wherever it is you decided to live, not the other way around.
No.
Yeah.
Tobimaru gave Sojirou's back a hard slap. It made Soujirou straighten up his posture and snap him out of his slump a bit.
でも飛び丸、 そこに住むって決めても好きになれなかったらどうするんだ？
Okay, but what if you decide to live somewhere and you just can't like it no matter how much you try?
どうしても好きになれないやつは違う土地に行けばいい。嫌なら逃げてもいいんだよ。放浪するのも人生だぜ。
Well, if you really don't like it, you just move somewhere else. Don't be scared to run away from a bad place. You're meant to wander a bit in life.
Soujirou was so impressed with Tobimaru's words he couldn't speak. They gave him a new perspective. It wasn't just the words, don't be scared to run away from a bad place. What had really left a strong impression was Tobimaru's confidence. Although he had been born in this town, he spoke freely of abandoning it.
飛び丸から逃げるなんて言葉が出るとは思わなかった。
I never thought I'd hear you talk about running away.
逃げる先があるなら逃げてもいいだろって話。
There's nothing wrong with running away if you have somewhere to run to.
そりゃ勝ちとか成功とかそういう言葉に固執するのも悪くはねえさ。富と名声はいいもんだしな。
That's not to say you shouldn't hold on to words like victory and success or fortune and fame.
だが俺にはどうも勝ち続けるっていうのは固まるってことに見える。息苦しくてしょうがない。青崎みたいにがんじがらめになっても突き進むパワーもねえしな。心情は軽い方がいいだろうよ。
I just think it's easy to feel stifled if you're always trying to win. I don't have the willpower of someone like Alzaki who can just power through things. I'll have to keep life light.
人生は軽い方がいいのか？
You think life is better when it's light?
いや、軽いとか手堅いとかそういうんじゃなくて、俺はもっとこうロマンあふれるっつうか。
I don't really mean lightweight or secure or anything like that. I just want more adventure, you know.
Tobimaru furrowed his brow at his inability to find the proper words. What he wanted was simple.
そうだな。俺はきっと笑える人生が送りたいんだ。
Look, I just want to live a life that I can laugh about.
That was how he saw life. Tobimaru tried his best to put into words his thoughts, hoping his friend would find them useful.
漫才師か？
Like a comedian? Oh, God.
Tobimaru's shoulders slumped in disappointment. But even
い
so,
や、そんなもんか。実際。
Actually? Yeah, sure.
the more he thought about it, the more he realized that Soujirou wasn't really wrong. There was no end to human desire. The perfect life was an unattainable dream. The only way to really win was to be able to say with your dying breath that you would truly enjoy living.
たく、青崎の影響かね。考えなしのバクとかっていうの。あいつ、ボニー&クライドとか大好きなんだろうな。
Man, I wonder if this is Ozaki's influence. She's the type to always take a gamble on anything. I bet she loves Bonnie and Clyde.
Tobimaru tiredly scratches his head. He never would have said something like this last year, considering how pessimistic he had been then.
ともかくだ。他人の事情にいちいち落ち込んでるようじゃ日が暮れるぜ。
Anyway, there's no end to it if you worry about everyone else's business.
いや、実際もう暮れかけてるけどな。とんだ道草だ。
Look, the sun's already going down. We've been out here forever.
そうか。引き止めてすまなかった。飛び丸は他に用事が？
Sorry to keep you. Do you have something else you need to be doing?
俺もおとなしく家に帰るとするか。
Wow. He's gonna go home. Oh shit.
Maybe I'll just be good and head home.
そっちも日が落ちる前に帰れよ。何をしていたか聞かれたら隠さず事情は説明しとけ。
Yeah,
その話
seriously.
お前が思ってるほどひでえ話じゃねえから。
You should get home before it gets totally dark, too. If they ask you what you were doing, just be honest. It's not as bad as you think it sounds. Trust me.
Soujirou frowned and fell silent. He still hadn't come to terms with his arrangement with that old woman yet. If he hadn't gone in there in the first place, she might not have felt like anything was missing from her life. That feeling of regret was exactly why he wanted to talk to someone.
お前、残酷なことをしたと思ってんだろ。
I bet you think you've done something cruel to her, don't you?
ばあさんの人生に今からじゃ取り戻せないものを見せつけた。どうかな。
Like you showed her something that she can never have. Am I right?
Soujirou was stunned into silence. Tokimaru knew exactly what Soujirou regretted.
そりゃ違う。思い上がりだぜ、宗次郎。
Damn. What a turnaround Tokimaru has made from the early part of the story.
You just shouldn't think that you have that much power over someone, Soujirou.
いいか、そのばあさんも自分は人生に失敗したなんて思ってんなら、今の自分にできることをさせればいい。
Listen, if she thinks she messed up her life, you should do whatever you can to help her.
幸い金は腐るほどあるんだろ。
She's stinking rich, right?
なら思いっきり人助けをさせてみろ。金で救える不幸なんざ山ほどあるだろ。
And get her to help people with it. There's so many problems in this world she can fix with her money.
で、ばあさんがどんなもんだと胸を張れたんなら、それは間違いなくいい仕事だ。少なくとも俺は気持ちがいい。
If you can get her to be proud of herself, then you'd have done a good job. It would make me happy at least.
それはおばあさんの苦しみを解決していない。
But that still doesn't get rid of her suffering.
解決できねえ問題は放っておけ。
Don't worry about problems you can't solve.
そのばあさんには今他に解決できる問題があるんだから、それでいいじゃねえか。で、
Focus on the problems you can help with.
悪いけどお金はこれから世のため人のため自分のために使うから返しておくれとなったらば、ばあさんの勝ち。
If you can convince her to let you give that money back so she can use it to help others and herself, then she's won.
偽物の孫なんざよりよっぽどいい生きがいに目覚めたわけだな。
That'll give more meaning to her life than a fake grandson ever could.
しかしこれで満足したから残りはやっぱりもらっておくれ。
But if she says she's done enough and she wants you to have the rest of her money,
といえばお前さんの勝ち。
that means you've won.
ばあさんにとってはやっぱり孫の方がいいってことで、その時は大手を振って大金持って帰りやがれ。
She'd prefer to think of you as her grandson. If that's the case, then there's no shame in taking that money from her.
なるほど。
I see now.
Soujirou clapped his hands together. He was finally able to accept these conditions as fair.
すまない。ありがとう、飛び丸。
Hey, thanks for the talk, Tobimaru.
His smile was no longer bitter. He would do whatever he could to help that old woman choose to assist others in need. Tokimaru thought that such unwavering confidence was a sign of true freedom.
気にするな。礼を言うならお互い様だ。
Don't worry about it. I needed it just as much as you.
じゃあな、宗次郎。
See you after
休
the
み明けにまた学校で。
see you after the break.
His goodbye wasn't the friendliest, but Soujirou didn't mind. He ran home with a big smile on his face. Tobimaru's smile was a bit less carefree as he left the footbridge. The time was 4:30 in the evening. Night would soon fall over the midwinter landscape. Oh, damn, wow. The chapter took an unexpected turn. It was really sweet.
ただいま。今夜はまた一段と冷えるね。
Oh my god. I wonder how much is left? Do you guys know?
I'm home. Looks like it's gonna be a cold one tonight again.
Alco and Alice were in the drawing room when he returned. Neither one of them had eaten dinner yet. About 10 minutes? Okay, this is the last scene. Okay, good. Alco looked displeased. Alice sat uncomfortably on the sofa. It's actually a normal Link stream. It's just with all the breaks. It's just with the breaks and stuff, and we had a late start too, so that's why it seems like a longer stream than usual. Alice sat uncomfortably on the sofa.
あれ、もしかしてこっちの帰りを待っていたのか?
Huh? Were you two waiting for me to get home?
Alice quietly affirmed his assumption. Alco vehemently denied it.
青崎、俺の気のせいならいいんだけど、なんだか昨夜以上にどうかしてないか?
Ozaki, I might just be imagining things, but you seem even more worked up than you were last night.
Soujirou had gotten slightly better at reading the room, but he still had difficulty choosing the right words. I'll show you worked up! Was what she wanted to say, but she stopped herself. She wasn't actually all that angry with Soujirou, but...
どうかしてるの、青子。
Wait, what are you worked up about, Alco?
してないわよ。してるのは宗十郎の方だっていうの。
I'm not worked up about anything! If anybody's worked up about something, it's Soujirou! Alice's additional remarks seemed to have been the tipping point. Soujirou thought this showed she was indeed worked up about something.
しずきくんがどうかしたの？彼、今夜は比較的まともだけど。
You think so? I thought he seemed more normal than usual tonight. Soujirou felt like that was pretty offensive too, but let it slide.
もう分かったわよ。そっちから切り出すまで黙っていようと思ったけど、私の方から聞いてあげる。
Fine, if that's you want to play it. I was gonna wait for you to say something, but I'll just go ahead and ask.
宗十郎、あんた、本物の光って名前に聞き覚えはない？
Soujirou, have you ever heard of an organization called the Light of Truth?
いや、全く。初めて聞いた。
No, not before now.
Oh my god.
でしょうね。名簿にあんたの名前はなかったもの。なんだってあんな勘違いしちゃったんだろう。
Well, you know, she did a good deed at the very least. Oh my god. I didn't think so. Your name wasn't in their records anywhere. How could we have messed that up so badly?
骨折り損とまではいかないけど、また良くない評判立てちゃった。
It wasn't all for naught. Now I've set more bad rumors afloat. Alco let out an exaggerated sigh and flopped down at the sofa. Seeing Alco in this weakened state as an opportunity, the blue robin flew jauntily down from the sunroom.
見てたっす。自分見てたっす。ご近所じゃもうおひれつきまくりっす。青崎さんとこの娘さんがまた指一本で見せつぶしたとかマジパニー。指先一つでダウンとかどこまで都市伝説作る気っすか。
I saw him with my own mince pies. The whole neighborhood is like, oh, that Ozaki girl's got it done it again. She took down our whole business with the snap of her fingers like bloody Thanos. You and I have a legend at this point, you are. The robin continued to shout her praise for Alco's deeds of valor. Alco knocked it away with a flick of her finger and picked herself up on the sofa.
今日はお金持ってないわね。例のアルバイトはもう終わったの？
I see you don't have an envelope of money today. Is your part-time job finished?
いや、まだ続いているよ。 あのお金は預かり物だから、朝のうちに口座を作って預けておいた。
No, it's still going. I'm actually just holding that money. I made a separate bank account for it and deposited this morning.
預かり物？
You're holding it?
そう、預かり物。きっと全額返すことになる。
Yeah, I'll be giving it all back eventually.
Soujirou took off his coat and began talking about his job as a home helper. He kept it simple, explaining how things began and the conclusion he'd come to with Toby Mahoyo earlier. Aoko then seemed stunned by the outlandish circumstances, but in the end...
はいはい、やっぱりね。安心したっていうか、がっかりしたっていうか。そうよね。どう頑張っても悪事を働ける人間じゃないわよね、あなた。
Okay, okay, I should have known. I don't know if I'm relieved or disappointed. You really are incapable of doing any wrong, aren't you? She was back to her usual offensive self. However, there was another girl in the room who had at this point gone pale.
待って。ということは、それはしずきくんのお金ではないの？
Alice, did you do something? Wait. So you're saying that wasn't your money?
ああ、人様のお金だよ。
That's right, I'm just holding it for someone else.
アリス？
Oh dear. Alice, what did you fucking do? Did you spend it or something? Alice?
なんかとんでもない顔してるけど、どうかした？
The expression on your face right now is something else. Are you okay?
それがどうかはしてないけど、
No.
出
I'm
前はしたわ。
fine. I just ordered takeout.
はい？
Huh? Alice handed out menus for local soba noodle shop and a cafe. The blood drained from Aoko's face as she took everything in. Alice quietly passed her a small note. When it was hastily retorted there was more than enough food for the three of them.
まさかもう注文を？
Wait! You already ordered!
だってそろそろごちそうのタイミングかと思って。
Well, yes. I thought it was about time that someone treated us. Alice's accusing gaze fell on Soujirou.
え？俺？なんで？
Huh? Me? Why?
そりゃあんたがいらない期待を持たせたからでしょう。アリス、あんなに喜んでたじゃない。明日はごちそうねって。
Because you got everyone's hopes up. Alice was looking forward to you treating us to dinner, you know. Soujirou clapped his hands together for the second time today. He remembered that Alice had said that yesterday.
ええ、あの夜、しずきくんは同意してくれたわ。
Yes, and you agreed. Alice was eager to emphasize that this was not her fault.
いや、それは。
Oh, yeah, but...
そうね。アリスのミスなのは確かだけど、悪いのはあんたもよ。大金を持ち歩くってのは、それだけで危険なんだから。
Yeah, like there's no way this story could take place in any other decade. Like, cause it would have just been like who uses cash, you know, anymore, you know? Like, Alice may have messed up, but it's your fault! So you shouldn't walk around with so much money.
いい教訓になったんじゃない？観念して、二人で感情折半しなさいよ。
I hope you've learned your lesson. You two are just gonna have to split the bill.
いや、それはできない。あのお金は預けてきたし、そもそも500円しか持ち合わせがない。
No way, I can't. That money's in the bank, and I only have 500 yen on me.
そう。合わせても足りないわね。試したことはないけど、出前にキャンセルは効くのかしら。
He's right. Even if we pool our money together, we won't have enough. Can we cancel the order? An air of despair fell upon the Kwanji estate. Aoko sighed as if none of this involved her. She hated to coddle them, perhaps this was her fate.
ま、そうなるか。
I should have known this would happen.
いいわよ、私が出してあげる。今日は臨時収入があったからパーッと派手に使いましょう。
It's mine. I'll pay for it. I got some unexpected income today, so I might as well use it. Ako's sudden proposal made both Soujirou and Alice perk up.
つまり青崎のおごり。
Wait, you're gonna treat us, Ozaki?
そんな信じられない。いいの青子。
I can't believe my ears. Are you so sure, Ako?
呼んじゃったものは今更止められないでしょ。
Well, you've already called in the order. We can't cancel now.
さっき電話したんなら今頃はもう坂を登ってきてるだろうし。
If you called them earlier, they're probably already on their way up the hill.
まあそもそもこのお金も宗十郎が発端だしね。人助けをしたら被害者の会からお礼をもらっちゃったのよ。
We got this money because of Soujirou anyway. It's a thank you present from the victims advocacy group.
だから気にしないで。なんか居心地悪かったし錠剤と思って商店街に還元する。本音言うとちょっともったいないけどね。
It felt weird taking it from them. And this way it goes back into the shopping district anyway. So don't worry about it. I do think it's a bit of a waste though, if I'm being honest. Her roommates began celebrating. Ako sank back into the sofa upon seeing the happiness her jester brought. Yep.
悪戦身につかずって言うけどほんとその通り。臨時収入は泡と消えた。
That's Ako's prize money for finishing a side quest. Oh well. Easy come, easy go. All that extra money gone just like that. And thus, the curtain closed on a little incident involving a lot of cash. The Blue Robin flew down to the table again.
まったく嫌な山だったぜ。
That would knock you right out of your Goldilocks, eh?
まあそれはそれとして。
The Robin chirped and mimicked puffing on a cigarette.
Anyway, all of that aside, 青子さんの空回りっぷりを忘れないよう、これをカーモネーギー事件として記録しとくっすね。
Let's always remember this is the Dosh affair, so that we never forget the gravel and grit Miss Alco dragged herself through. God bless us, everyone! Blue Robin continued to laugh at the day's hero. Blimey! Alco flicked the bird away just as someone knocked at the door. Alice had ordered her favorite omelet dish and a set of cakes from the cafe.
まあそれなら。
Might as well enjoy. Alco was quietly satisfied with the spoils of an honest day's work. Hey! This episode of Witch on the Holy Night was filmed before a live studio audience. Oh my god. Well, here we go. How lovely. Next time we do that little beavering thing next time we do this thing. I don't know why this is so out of place, and then we continue the main story proper. Thank you all for coming today. Y'all are the best. Seriously, thank you so much. Tomorrow is Cold Steel, and we will continue with with that little thing about ploys and the main story in 2 days. So until then, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You're all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.